Good morning. Welcome in. How are you guys? How's it going? I hope y'all are doing well. I was just over on Oka's channel. We were playing some more Ace Attorney Investigations too. It's a good time. We're on the final case of that one, so I've been really enjoying it. I feel like all the pieces are starting to get together. You doing well? I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Welcome on in. Let's see who took my first today. Ren, thank you so much for taking my first today. Makes me very happy that you could be my first. Daily pillows, we've got Ren, Nordy, Alex, Lord Tavish, Phi, Jeremy, and White Blaze. Thank you for grabbing your daily pillows. Also, hi Jacob on YouTube. Welcome in. Good morning. Today we are playing Asphodelium. So, I've played a lot of Yuri games, I've played a lot of Otome games, I've played a lot of, you know, gay and straight, but I really needed some more yaoi. I needed some more yaoi to even everything out. I need to keep the scales balanced. So we're playing another yaoi game. This one's still got some slightly spooky vibes to it as well. Maybe not the same level of spooky as Fear Bonding. We'll see. But this one's exciting. I've been excited to play this one. So big thank you to Crystal Gameworks for giving me the key to this game. It is available on Steam if you're watching on YouTube. It's in the description, and I will grab the link to the Steam page as well to post in the chat on Twitch. Let me just grab it real quick. There's a yoinky sploinky over here. Hi, Snoowahi. Welcome in. There you go. There is the link to the Steam page for this game as well. There you go. All right. I'm ready. Let's hop on in here. I love the music for this. It's so pretty. Really enjoy spending time with you. I love spending time with you guys too. It's so much fun. And I love being able to play visual novels with you guys. I love visual novels so much. So it just makes me happy that I can just play them on stream with y'all. As somebody put it, they said I was like an audiobook for visual novels, and that like legit made me really happy. I hope I can be y'all's very comfy, cozy live audiobook with extra commentary. Yeah. And that night, the sky was completely cloudy. No stars peering down, no glimpses from the moon. Only the snow witnessed us. Only the snow watched me as I killed him. Starting out strong. Chapter 1, Meeting. Oh my god, flashbang. Morning already. I groan, rubbing my strained neck. My mattress feels too hard and my pillow feels too soft now. Every morning it's like I'm waking up to something else being sore. Light crawls in through my window as if to check that I'm still alive. As high as sunlight looks in the sky, I must have slept most of the morning. Why didn't Charlotte wake me? No, the better question is how I didn't hear them. I know why they didn't wake me up. It's not often Charlotte comes up in here to get me up, since her moving around the flat is usually enough to wake me up anyway. And, well, I am an adult. Still, it's a pain to sleep in so late. Do they eat breakfast without me too? Oh, they're probably already preparing lunch by now. Ugh. A few more moments of staring at the ceiling, I slink out of bed. My feet hit the cold wooden floor, sending a jolt through me that helps wake me up some more. Hi, bye. Welcome in. I stare at the clothes strewn about. It should be so easy just to fold the damn clothes. Just pick up a pair of pants, fold them in half, and then fold the legs. It's so easy. And yet I just sit there and stare at them instead. Yeah. Maybe it's good that Charlotte didn't come in here. She's been so patient with me already, helping with laundry and cooking and cleaning. I want to help her with it. I want to thank her, but whenever I get the chance, the words just never come to me. Only shame. I find a pair of clothes that's not completely wrinkled and throw it on before heading out of my room. A cold draft flows down the hallway, making me shiver. Every one of my steps causes the floorboards to creak. I pause for a moment and just listen. It's so quiet in here. The only sound I can hear is from people walking outside. Where is everyone? Bryn spent the night last night, but it's probably already lunchtime, so I shouldn't be surprised they already left again for work. Their schedule's about as messy as it could be, but they seem to like it well enough. It keeps their mind busy, at least. I don't think something like that could work for me. So, hi, Brad. Welcome in. Oh my gosh. How are you? Hi, Bulkhead. Rather than my smell of lunch cooking from the kitchen, there's just the staleness in the air. My stomach rumbles. I didn't really eat much last night, and now there's no food waiting for me. Damn, I really am devolving into a kid again. It's pretty clear Charlotte isn't here, with her door left ajar and the lights off. She probably went to town while I was asleep. Maybe she met up with Alexi or a friend. That's good for her to get out of the house. Just took a shower, I'm gonna head to bed, but just want to say hi. Yeah, get plenty of sleep, get nice and cozy. I hope you have sweet dreams, Bulkhead. Open up the refrigerator. Half-eaten sausage, some greens, a couple of eggs. It's barely enough for lunch, much less dinner for us tonight. I close it back up. The bread box proves to be more fruitful. With half a loaf left in it, I take a slice and call it a meal. She's most likely picking up some food for us today. I need to pay her back, literally. I can't let her keep using her own money to feed the both of us. None of my typical clients have said they had any work for me the past couple of weeks. I could loiter around the bars and ask around if anyone needs a handyman or help with something, but it feels more like a waste of time than anything else. I open up my closet to see what we've got in here. Some hammers, a tool belt for handiwork, a shovel for yard work, a few boxes with different sewing kits and such. I've never been good with that kind of craft, so I'll leave it for Charlotte, who seems to enjoy it. I'm Eepy, we'll go to bed. Yeah, good night, Barb. Sweet, sweet dreams, okay? However, there is also a dusty violin case that's tucked away on one of the shelves, almost as if it were trying to hide from view. I lug it out and lay it on the table. The case pops open with a short clink. The insides haven't seen the light of day in months. Its slender frame is well worn from use and travel, back when I carried it with me religiously. Unconsciously, I take the cloth inside the case and clean it. I check the strings to make sure they're still strung well enough to play, strumming a few of them. It still looks beautiful. There's something about it today. This'll do. I take the violin case and head out the door, locking it behind me. The town is as lively as ever, bustling with people in every direction. The sun hangs above the square, doing little to help with the frigid temperature. Most people don't seem to care, though, as they continue on their way. I take a seat on the edge of the town square's fountain and watch for a few moments. Oh, are we busking? Is that what we're doing? Making a little extra cash. A mother and father hold their young child's hands as they gush about a stage play they just saw, and a young woman carries a basket of groceries, paying more attention to her coat than where she's walking. An older man hauls several boxes from one storefront to another. Everywhere around me, people are off minding their own business. I rest the violin against my chin, so I'll make some background music for them. Even now, it's second nature to me. The notes come out on their own, springing to life. They leap off the strings, doing a small twirl in the air before dancing away. As more of the notes fly away, they attract people's attention towards me. A small crowd begins to gather as I play. Music imbued with magic. It's a novelty to the upper class, but a rare treat for commoners and townsfolk. The magic is potent enough to upturn even the deepest scowls into a small smile, though I didn't mean for it to come out that strong. Playing the violin is muscle memory for me, but I've become rusty on gauging how much magic is appropriate. More notes of the sonata prance out, fading away into the chilly air. The growing crowd applauds. It doesn't take long for the bottom of my violin case to be covered with coins. Playing music is about the easiest thing I could do for money. I find a nice seat in the square, strum on the strings for an hour, and call it a day. I haven't needed to read sheet music in years, and it never takes long to fill up my carrying case with coins. Physically, it's always been easy. My violin feels like a second part of me. I don't have to think much to play it anymore, which allows my mind to wander. The last time I played this piece was on a cliff overlooking a smoldering village. Ash clung overhead for days, raining soot down everywhere we stepped. The strong scent of charbroiled wood and meat permeated the air. We were too late to help them. All I could do was hope a few notes could put what remained of them to rest. It was beyond feeling useless. Useless would have felt like if I walked up to the fight only my violin and no magic. What I had felt for the first time in my life that day was true hopelessness. To have despair gnaw on my insides, leaving me empty. The notes prance around my head, swirling around in an almost dizzying fashion. I realize that people have begun to pay more attention to the notes rather than the music, and readjust myself, focusing back on what I'm playing. Physically, playing the violin will always be the easiest option. Mentally, though. I sigh. I'm thankful I'm not rusty, or else I'd really be subconscious. Charlotte will be happy to see me playing again, even if it's only for a one-off thing. Maybe I'll even see her while I'm out here today. A group of kids have started dancing in front of me, spurred on by the background music. Even without me playing, they continue on. Side to side, hand in hand, they keep laughing. A small smile creeps up on my face. Beyond them is a sea of citizens and visitors. Many of them are bundled up, bracing for the next cold wave to hit the town tonight. Just as I tug on my scarf, white specks float down in front of me. And then another. A muted gray cloud hangs perfectly overhead, sprinkling snow over the square. It's not my ideal weather for playing outside, but it'll have to do for a bit longer. I steady my violin against my chin again. But my eyes see something they shouldn't have. A man stands in the crowd of onlookers some feet away. People haven't paid him much attention as they're more interested in my music. But I noticed him. Amidst the crowd, he sticks out, his hair disheveled and his coat well worn from travels. Even his boots are scuffed. An oversized, scratched-up canvas tote clings to his side. Despite the distance, I can feel his piercing eyes staring me down. It's a glimpse of something I shouldn't see. Not because it's illegal, but because I couldn't have seen it. I can't be seeing him right now, because he can't be standing there in the crowd. Oh my gosh, Rice Shower, welcome in, and Haru, welcome in. Thank you for the hug. My two favorite Umas. I feel very blessed. That man betrayed me when I felt closest to him. Hi, Mita. That man tried to destroy the world months ago. The man that I killed. My violin bow hits the ground, snapping me out of my stupor. I unconsciously turn to pick it up without even thinking of maintaining eye contact with the man. No, ghost. I'm seeing things. I've barely left the flat all week. This is the karma I get for being a shut-in. The karma for killing him. My fingers wrap around the bow, but I don't lean back up. A cold breeze hits my back, sending a big chill down my spine. I'm sweating. I don't know why I'm seeing him now of all times. It was months ago. If I were going to hallucinate about him, wouldn't it have started sooner? But it has to be a hallucination. Or someone who just happens to have a similar shade of hair, similar body type, similar face structure. It has to be. I stabbed him. I let him die in my arms. I buried him. If it's not, then... Sit back up, ignore the crowd, start packing up. We're like, yeah, I'm out of here, actually. Let's see. I think we're gonna keep playing. We're gonna keep playing. We gotta make money. My mind goes blank, so I let my body go into autopilot. With my bow in hand, I sit back up and face the crowd. He's still there, watching. A moment passes, and then another. And then I begin to play again. This piece is what I played at his funeral, attended only by the four of us. a requiem intended for distraught souls that met especially bloody ends. Notes flutter about more like a slow ballet rather than an energetic dance like before. When I close my eyes, I can still make out the dirt. It took us an hour to dig a hole big enough and deep enough for him. An hour of thrusting a shovel into the hardened, snow-laced ground. An hour of guessing how big a hole needed to be for a body. An hour of replaying the moment I thrust the knife into his chest. His corpse had already started rigor mortis by the time we were ready. The bread from this morning rises up in my throat. I swallow hard to keep it down. If I open my mouth, I'm sure it'll come out. The ground begins to be covered in snow, most of it sticking in place. Of course it would snow today. The last few notes of the requiem cling together before drifting apart, falling among the snowflakes. The crowd applauds, including him. Hi, Recolai. I can't stay here, not with the ghost watching me. I start putting away my violin to the dismay of the onlookers. There's some mumbling of disappointment, but they soon disperse back to what they were doing beforehand. I don't care. I stand up, dust the snow off me, and turn to leave. Don't look back. The more I acknowledge my delusion, the worse it'll get. Don't think about it. Don't. Someone grabs my wrist. Their hand is wrapped around my wrist, firm enough to stop me, but soft enough to be able to shrug off. I can feel their fingers on top of my jacket. I'm afraid to turn around. We both stand there in silence, a long exhale. My heart races. Hazel. His voice. It's his voice. My instincts flip over. My mind goes numb. I could never forget his voice, how my name sounded on his lips. There's no magic in the world that could recreate that so perfectly, much less bring someone back. Who is this? What is this? I swallow, then inhale, and then I turn. He's so cute! The man stares at me, his eyebrows partially upturned in a concerned manner. Up close, it's much more apparent how disheveled he is. His hair is fraying and all of his clothes have partial dirt on them. His eyes, though, they're a light kind of gray, the kind that lacks a strong color to them, but make up for it in intensity. An unusual shade of gray that reminds you of afternoon storms, of light rain, or of fog on a steamy morning. People called him cursed because of his eyes. Eyes the window to the soul, and thus he had none. The man in front of me is a mess. He's clearly homeless. His hair is much longer and much messier than his. He's only said one word, unlike his talkative nature. But the man in front of me is him. I can feel it in my bones, in my heart, in my soul. I know it's him, just like how I know the sky is blue without checking, or that there's dirt underneath all this cobblestone, even though I can't see it. I know it's him, but I can't find any words to say to him. Hazel. My name drips out of his mouth, slowly and carefully. It knocks the wind out of me to see him say it. Whatever words I had tried to form are lost. I'm sorry. I've scared you. I realize my face is contorted somewhere between horror and disbelief. I glance away, but it's hard to completely wipe the fear away. It really is his voice. I spent the past few months thinking about what I'd say to you when I finally found you, but I've come up with nothing. I'm not him. My head feels light. A man who looks like him, talks just like him, and knows my name, says he isn't him. Of course he isn't. He's dead. So, who are you? He lets go of my wrist and shifts uncomfortably. Well, wow. I really have nothing to show for myself despite thinking about it for so long. A few nosy onlookers have begun staring. Can we go somewhere else to talk? Somewhere a tad more private? Yeah, okay. I don't want this stranger to know where I live just yet, but I also don't want to keep making a scene here. Several people keep staring at us, wondering what the outburst was about and why I was so quick to leave. A private alley should be a safer bet. Alright, let's go down the side alley on the next street. Oh, that'd be good. He smiles almost childishly, but his eyebrows remain upturned. I don't know what to make of his attitude. I just know I can't trust him just yet. No, I don't want to trust him just yet. I don't want to face reality. There's no way he could be him. Right? I take him to the side alley off the square that's mostly just used as a back door for restaurants and shops here. There won't be many people passing through here. I look back at the man behind me. Outwardly, he looks curious and mildly amused, but the rest of his body language betrays him. His hands feverishly fiddle with his jacket cuffs, and his eyes can't stay centered on anything. I don't remember him ever getting so obviously nervous. Start talking. Yes, well, it's rather hard for me to hide my appearance or my voice. To put it simply, I believe I'm him, and I'm not him. So you actually are him in some way? Yes and no. My name is Aster. A few months ago, I woke up several towns away. I had no memories of my own name, but I had his memories. At first I thought they were my own, but I realized something was wrong. In my memories, I died. They were my memories, but I hadn't lived them. Someone else had. He had. I don't have all of his memories, though. Only a handful of them. I wouldn't call it a scrapbook of highlights, but I know a lot of what happened to him. Hi, Lord Tavish. Hi, Rito. Toya. Welcome in, Toya. Yeah, let me go ahead and sippy sip my water. Thank you for the hydrate. Are we doom yaoing? Yeah. Our ex-boyfriend that we stabbed and buried after we killed him is suddenly reappeared. So we're chit-chatting with them. We gotta see how he's still alive. Because we literally buried him. Yeah, welcome in. There was one person I kept seeing over and over in my dreams, and that was you. I knew I had to find you no matter what. It took me a few months, but I'm here now. He grins at me. The gesture feels genuine, but somehow off. He never acted like that. There's a necromancer among us. Yeah, you mean we get to kill him again? Maybe. I mean, that could be kind of kinky. I could be into that. I mean, if he's into that, you know, we'll see. This isn't him. This is some stranger who looks like him and has his memories. How? How what? You said you woke up only knowing your name, right? So when he died, you gained his memories in place of your own? So we penetrated him once and he came back for seconds? That is such a wild way of phrasing stabbing somebody. Yeah, we penetrated him with our dagger, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And he came crawling back for more. Right out the grave. Right. How do you look like him? That's the part where I believe to some degree I am him. I just don't have his memories. I have a version of his body, a copy of his voice. You could say he took well to our blade. My hair gets tangled in the same way his would. My cough is the same pitch as his. My eyes are the same troublesome gray as his. This is how I was born, you could say. Born? Do you know what the Sun Mourners were researching? Hearing that name again freezes me in place. The Sun Mourners, his family, they were a doomsday cult hell-bent on bringing about the end of the world through the idea that they must destroy the sun and they will then be reincarnated. A group that thrived on using uncertainty to gain members and fear to isolate them. A group I thought he had escaped, but it came back to haunt him in the end. Yeah, round 2 of lethal penetration. I mean, I'd penetrate him. You see how cute he is? Yeah, of course I'd penetrate. A shudder rolls through me. I had hoped I'd never have to think of them again. They were heavy into studying reincarnation, but I didn't think he actually believed any of that. That didn't make him any less of a test subject. I think somehow his family was right. That reincarnation and reviving the dead isn't far off a theory as people believe. But somehow, they still ended up far off the mark with me. You think his family created you? Maybe. And now he's not sure. Is he being coy, or does he really not have a solid idea on what he is? You mean to say that you want him to go out with a bang and a whimper? Yes. I love whimpering men. I love whimpering men. I love men who cry. I love men who whimper. I love men who beg. I think it's beautiful, and I think more men should do it. I'm just throwing that out there. He has a very penetrative face. we gotta stop calling it that. We gotta come up with a different phrase. I don't know if that's gonna work. His family are all either dead or in prison, though. They couldn't have done whatever that would take. You don't think so, huh? Well, that was my only guess. If you're partially him, then where did your name come from? Yeah. Oh my god, the devs are here. Hi, welcome in. Yeah, we're having a good time. We're already approaching the mystery. We're trying to see what's happened. I hate it here with all these jokes. Welcome in, Lord Tavish. Also, hi, Berserk. Welcome in as well. He pauses, surprised by the question. It's my name. How do you know your name is yours? I picked it out. Alright, bad comparison. I just know. I've always known it's my name. So, do you believe me so far? It's hard to disagree with him just based on his looks alone. His body's definitely the same, or at least a version of it, as his, albeit less taken care of. He hasn't told me anything, I think is an outright lie, though. I don't think he's lying about not fully understanding himself. What a conversation to be having while the devs walk in. It's a yaoi game, okay? There's gonna be talk of penetration at some point if it's yaoi. That's just how it works, alright? They probably knew what they signed up for when they wrote this, alright? It sounds so sus when I say it like that, but that's normal conversations. But that leaves me with one question. Why? Why did you come find me? The words escape me. He has some of his memories, but would he have reached out to find if he knew who killed him? Is this him trying to get payback where he'll betray us again? I've been here the whole time and oh my god. So you've heard everything. You've seen everything. So we need life essence to spill out of him and then kill him again. I mean, yeah. Hi, Lazy, welcome in. I don't have the courage to say anything more. I saw a lot of his memories, and I know a lot about what happened between you two. But there's also a lot I don't know about. So, as my own decision, I want to stay here for a while. That's your own decision. So hi, Lazy. Welcome in. Yes, please treat us as separate people. Even without my memories of my own, a face of my own, I want to make my own decisions. I want to make my own memories. And I want to do that together with you and the guild. I didn't establish a guild. He did. I want to make friends with everyone on my own terms. A lump grows in my throat. Our guild had basically disbanded after we killed our first leader, but he doesn't seem to know that. So please, let me stay here, at least for a while. I look up at him, his eyebrows slightly upturned, his eyes brimming with hope. Just seeing his face makes me torn between throwing up and wrapping my arms around him. Someone running around with this face, though, it could create a lot of problems if anyone notices a dead man is walking around. There's something else, too. I want to watch him for a while. Even if it hurts. See how he acts, watch what he does. Who is he, really? Why does he exist? Alright, you can stay with me. Really? Thank you! Aster does a small jump and a skip, grinning ear to ear. The scene almost looks ridiculous. Cyrus was such a self-confident, aloof guy. Anything he did, joke or not, had an undercurrent of pride and self-assurance. Meanwhile, this guy... What did I get myself into? Got a stress test to make sure he's 1-to-1. Yeah, baby. Chapter 2. Home. Against my better judgment, I lead Cyrus's doppelganger to my flat. We weave through the town, which proves to be a challenge in itself. I have to stop and drag him along every few steps. There were easier paths to take without so many people, but there's something I want to test. I just have to be sure of something. Will you poke him again? I mean, if he asks for it, you know. He has to ask politely, but I'd be open to it. I stop at one of the booths and take a look at what they have. It's a wide variety of peppers and spices, stuff that Charlotte would like to look at. Aster stops and takes a look for himself. Looking for something? I don't say anything. He leans in closer, looking at my face to see if I heard him. I pretend to be more interested in the peppers. Before I take him into my house, I have to know if other people can see him. We caused a scene at the square, but they could have just been looking at me in a hurry to leave and suddenly stopping in the road. I probably look scared out of my mind. It's not out of the question that alone would cause people to turn their heads. Aster looks a bit confused when I don't answer him. He looks to the tables in front of us, picking up one of the peppers. Say, Charlotte didn't send you out here for grocery shopping, did she? His words make me mentally stumble back, breaking my silence. Oh, what makes you say that? Yeah, good night, red glow lights, sweet dreams. Oh, is she not here? With you looking at food, I just assumed. There's a lot of moving parts here, so I have to take a moment to think about what he said. I never mentioned Charlotte, nor said she lived with me in town. But if he does have Cyrus's memories, then it's not far off an assumption that I stuck with the rest of the guild. It's a Big Bear Gaming. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in, welcome in. I narrow my eyes at the wide-eyed man in front of me. I can't help but want to be suspicious of him, but... Sirs, do you have something you want? Of course. I forgot the whole reason I brought him to the farmer's market was so I wouldn't talk to him. Just looking. I take a step back from the booth. Aster puts the pepper he was holding back. When he does, the farmer's eyes him up and down. We'll be back later. The man grunts before turning back and sitting down, angry he wasn't going to get a sale. I shake my head and walk away. At least I can tell people can actually see him and I'm not having a full-blown episode. Maybe that's still to come. We make our way past several more booths, all bustling with people perusing their wares. I don't know if I need to be wary of others seeing his face or not. Cyrus had enemies, definitely, but most of them are gone, or in our guild. At least his hair is longer and obscures his features more. Maybe it won't be a problem. For now. Aster watches a group of kids run around the food stalls as we walk by. His hair is unkempt, probably from his travels. Strands of his hair stick out from random places. It's rather distracting. Let me brush your hair. Maybe out of habit, maybe out of pity, I reach up to straighten it some. Aster turns towards me when he sees me move and jumps back. I'm sorry. He bounces back on his feet, playing it off. Huh? Do I have something in my hair? You got a lot of things in your hair. When's the last time you brushed it? It can't be that bad. I run my fingers through it when I can. Oh my god, dude, that reminds me. I saw a video of this girl who had a dead lizard skeleton in her hair. And she was like freaking out and she's like trying to pull the dead lizard skeleton out of her hair. And I'm like, bro, how do you lose an entire lizard in your hair, bro? Like, did you not feel that shit? I don't know. Actually, the parting and the highlights of his hair look similar to yours. It does a little bit. I do like how soft it looks. I really love like soft, fluffy hair. And I did give myself like an appearance of like bedhead. That was an intentional design choice of mine, is to look a little bit like I have kind of messy, choppy bedhead. So it makes sense. Our hair looks kind of similar. Our bangs are parted similarly as well. I'll take that as a never. Wrong. I brush it when I'm staying somewhere that gives me something like a hairbrush. Thank you for the head pats. And how did you afford those places? I didn't. It's called hospitality. People take pity on the amnesiac and teary-eyed looking vagabonds, weary from their travels. They really help you out once you tell them you were gravely wounded or on a long journey back. Some people's kindness knows no bounds. Oh, so now you're just straight up manipulating people and taking advantage of them. He pouts, throwing his arms in protest. It's not manipulating. What part of that was a lie? Being gravely injured on your way home. Yeah, you weren't gravely injured. In your memories you were, but your body wasn't. You being gravely injured? I think most people would be calling killed a grave injury. And none of them asked how you were injured or asked to see it. The words come out of my mouth before I have time to word them more carefully. I don't want him to accidentally remember who killed him. He squints at me before shrugging. I told him I was stabbed and it took a while to heal. It just so happens that it healed so well you can't even tell it happened. He taps his torso around the area I stabbed him. So he remembers that. But he doesn't remember who did it? No, he definitely knows. He definitely knows. That's why he came to you, man. It doesn't take long for us to reach my flat. The outside has seen better days, with parts of the paneling peeling and bricks chipped. The front door is plain brown that's showing its wear. A few potted plants line the windows and the front doorstep. Most people call it shabby or quaint in a pitiful way, but it's become my new home over the past few months. It's also rather cheap living, especially for two people. In this economy, you take what you can get. Ooh. Aster walks around it, curious at every nook and cranny. What's so exciting about the outside? I'm just impressed in general. You have a whole place to yourself now. Well... Let's get inside and I'll explain more. The interior of the flat is cramped and not much better for the wearer than the outside. With 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a small kitchen, and a tiny sitting room, every corner of the floor space is well used. It looks just how I left it an hour ago, with the lights off and everything. Charlotte isn't home just yet, so we have some time. Some, but probably not much. I drag Aster to the sitting room, telling him every few steps he can inspect the decor later. Good. I'm glad Charlotte isn't here. What would you have done if she was? Push you back outside as fast as I could? Now on to the important stuff. How much do you remember about our guild? He kicks his feet. A sober, more solemn look washes over him. He established a guild to take out the Sun Mourners for good. You were his first recruit. Aster's sentences are short, almost abruptly so. After a pause, it's clear that's where he intends to leave it. What about everyone else? Eventually 3 others came to join the guild. Charlotte, a female chef Byrne, an ex-guard, and Alexei, Charlotte's younger brother and hunter. It's subtle, but he describes them more passively, as if reading from a book rather than recounting memories. They came to join the guild rather than he recruited them or met them or fought with them. Do you remember recruiting them? Not completely, no. I remember the 2 of us winding up somewhere down south where we met Charlotte, but that's about it. The rest is hazy or not there at all. Like I said, I only have parts of his memory. It's a lot of parts, but not every detail. I see his life through a somewhat foggy mirror, and a clear puzzle with missing pieces that I can fill in the details of. Some places on the mirror are cracked, or the condensation's too thick to see on it. He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck. What do you remember about each of them? I remember a handful of our travels. Charlotte is sweet, Byrne is unserious, and Alexei is aloof. We traveled together for a couple of years, so I remember some of it. It's not much, but I don't know how a stranger would find this out without stalking each of us for a while. What were the Sun Mourners after? A way to cure death for good, for everyone. They preached that life was a limitation placed on us, and it was our destiny to transcend it by discovering how to make people come back to life. Oh my god. Did they make them drink the Flavor Aid? Their goal is to destroy the sun at the end of their ritual, which would kill everyone on Earth, and then everyone would be revived if their ritual went correctly, but you four stopped that. And from that, I was created somehow. This is better than nothing, I suppose. I still wanted to learn more about how his memory works. Is he able to gain new memories over time, or maybe through outside stimulus? Do his current memories become hazier as time goes on, or clearer? He slumps in his chair, his gaze slowly sweeping over the room. Don't you have anything to tell me? Like what? I'm sorry for stabbing you, maybe? Like what everyone's been doing since then. Anything else I should know about? Oh, he's right. It'd be helpful if you weren't completely in the dark about what happened since he died. We bought a flat to live in, but it's mainly just for myself and Charlotte. Bern and Alexi stop by from time to time, but they're busy with their own jobs. Charlotte does odd jobs around the town, mostly helping restaurants and bakeries where she can. She could have been a chef at any of the places in town, but she wants to sell goods at her own pace at the markets here. Bern has a new job as a ward at the children's home, helping kids without parents or separated from their parents readjust to life and such. It's a collection of various children's homes across several towns, so they end up traveling a lot. They swing by here usually once every week or so. Alexi went back to his and Charlotte's home to take care of their family. He hunts in the forest for a local butcher and only comes back here when he's making the haul. We don't see him as often since he usually stays further away. Most of the time, it's just myself and Charlotte. His eyebrow creases slightly as the wheels turn in his head. And do you like that? What's that supposed to mean? You know, living with someone else. Living with Charlotte. It's better than camping out and basically being homeless. A little pout forms on his face. He turns away. Oh, he's so cute. I can tell he was trying to get more at, do you like living with her, but I dodged the question. Well, we can... Open my mouth to say something when the front door opens. Anything I planned on saying leaves me immediately as my mind goes blank. In a panic, I pull Aster off his chair and push him towards the closet. Hazel, are you home? I thought I heard your violin playing from the square earlier, but no one was there. It told me someone that looked like you had quickly packed it up and left. Are you feeling okay? Oh, there you are. Charlotte steps into the sitting room with us. Well, with me. Aster is getting acquainted with the closet. Damn, we shoved him into the closet that fast? Poor guy. He just came back from the dead and we're already closeting him. She has her arms wrapped around a wicker basket full of bread and vegetables. More bags are on her shoulder, most likely filled with some meat. Her thick cape trails behind her, giving a more mature look. Unlike me, her hair is actually rather kept up and shiny from being well cared for. I'm all right. Just all right? She takes a step closer, putting her hand up to my forehead. Her cheeks are slightly flushed from the cold outside. A flash of concern crosses her face as she looks at me. I reach over to her and grab the basket on her arms, whisking away to the kitchen. I'm fine. Just got stage fright. It's been a while since I performed, you know. Hey, don't look away like that. Like what? Let's put these groceries down first. Hazel. So where did you go in town? Did you have lunch with Bern? Despite her protests, I successfully lead her to the kitchen. I begin unpacking what she bought. Defeated, she puts away her jacket. We were going to, but then Alexi told me he was in town, so we met up with him for a while before Bern had to run back to the children's home. So everyone's back in town right now? What are the odds? What's Alexi been up to? You'll be able to ask him tonight when he comes over for supper. Is he staying the night? Yeah, both of them said they would. Bern's stuff is still in the guest room. Both of them? I hope Alexi realizes he'll be on the couch. So they'll all be coming over tonight and spending the night? If Aster were in the room, I'd be giving him the side eye right now. This timing is horrendous, almost too horrendous. Do I tell her about it now or wait until they're all here? How do I even break it to them? Do I pretend I never saw him this morning and just happened to find us all? How do you introduce a reanimated corpse? Charlotte hands me a fresh baguette to put on our bread container. That's why I picked up some food before coming back. but I fear I didn't get enough. Preferably, I'd like to make a stew for dinner and have enough for leftovers, but I might need some more potatoes with it. Alexi likes a lot of potatoes in his serving. Maybe I'll have enough for tonight. You'll just have to get some more for me tomorrow, okay? My stomach rolls. I trusted them all through thick and thin, through countless life or death situations, but this? I need to have someone on my side first before everyone's here. If I wait until tonight to show him off, it's likely going to cause a massive panic. Seeing the man you buried walk right in front of you after eating dinner. Is it that hard of a decision? Huh? She takes a step closer to me, looking me up and down. He zoned out again. Asked if you wanted garlic or honey butter bread. Well, that's tough. I mean, if it's with dinner, then I probably want garlic bread. But if it's just like on its own, I do love a good honey butter bread. Oh my God, this is making me so hungry. I really want the rolls from Texas Roadhouse with the honey butter, the cinnamon honey butter. Oh, it's so fucking good, dude. I love the Texas Roadhouse bread. Honey butter's fine. How late did you sleep in this morning? Not too late. I got up and went to the square, didn't I? Her scrutiny doesn't let up for a moment. Did something happen when you were there? It sounded like you left in a hurry. Cinnamon butter. Yeah, the cinnamon honey butter. Oh my God, it's so good. The fresh baked rolls with the fresh cinnamon honey butter. It's so sweet and this light spice. Oh, my roommate makes, like, because we have, like, a bread machine in our house. He made, like, this, like, cinnamon bread, and then we put the butter on top, and so whenever you eat the cinnamon bread with the butter, it tastes like the bread rolls with the cinnamon honey butter. Oh, it's making me so hungry. I want fresh bread so badly. I need it. I need bread inside of my body so bad. I need to dust off our bread machine. I need to tell her. I have to. I swallow the frog in the back of my throat, clenching my fist to keep my nerves at bay. Yes, something did happen. I saw someone. Who? It'd be easier to introduce you than to explain it. Introduce me? What, you've gotten that close to someone so quickly? Sure, introduce them to me whenever. Let's go now. She practically drops the bell pepper she's holding. Now? They're here in the other room. You brought someone home? The sooner I get this over with, the better. I take her back to the sitting room and get her to sit down after some coaxing. She'll need to be sitting. The room is quiet. Aster. Aster? There's no response. The only thing we hear is the sound of the grandfather clock. My heart sinks lower with each clop of the horse's hooves. Don't tell me. No, people at the farmer's market saw him. People turned their heads for him. They walked around him. He was there, and so he's here. Damn it. I march over to the closet and swing it open, only to find Aster slumped on the tiny ground in the closet, asleep. I've had enough of this farce. Get out of there! I drag him out by his jacket collar, letting him spill out onto the floor at Charlotte's feet. He finally wakes up as his knees hit the wooden floor with a solid thud. What? Aster pushes himself off the floor as he sits upright, rubbing around his neck. He looks at me, and then at Charlotte. Their eyes both become wide upon seeing each other. Charlotte sits back in her chair, aghast at the scene. There is an uncomfortably long moment of silence. It must have only been a few seconds, but it feels painstakingly dragged out by the tension in the air. I huff and break the ice. This lout was stalking me in the town square. He opens his mouth to protest, probably the stalking part, but glances at Charlotte's terrified face and thinks again. He says he's not Cyrus, but rather something of a doppelganger. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not a doppelganger. I said it's reincarnation. A doppelganger just means someone who looks like someone else. I'm not calling you a ghost or anything. Besides, I don't fully understand the reincarnation idea. That implied that you've only been alive for a few months at most, right? Or that you actually are him? He folds his arms, looking away. No matter what you try to label the situation, none of them are a perfect fit. Maybe the label is the least I should be worrying about. What? Her voice is small, almost a whisper, like she's afraid someone might overhear. Aster stands up carefully, dusting off his jacket. My name is Aster. I'm a doppelganger of Cyrus. I have his looks and part of his memories, but I'm not entirely him. Like I told Hazel, I can't see all of his memories. I know somewhat about the guild and you all, and that's what makes me want to seek you out. I want to make my own memories with his friends, make amends with his previous friends. Please treat me as if I'm a different person from him that stand alone. I'm a different person. A different person? Charlotte clasps her mouth. She tries to hide it, but her hands won't stop shaking. He stopped me while I was performing and made me drag him back here. That's not at all what happened. I was walking through town and I heard a violin, so I wanted to see it. And I happened to find you. Happened to. Just have to be the contrarian, don't you? He folds his arms and looks away. The crease in his brow slowly turns from a frown to something more like worry. This is the only thing I have. Even if I can't stay here, please don't kick me out of town. It's not like we could do that anyway. Charlotte's hand tightens into a shaky fist. With pursed lips, she stands up and approaches him. Magic couldn't recreate this. She peers at his face, looking him over closer. Aster looks petrified. He doesn't dare move, but he looks like he might bolt at any second. Your eyes. Hey, are you feeling well? Aster jolts up as if the question snapped him out of his stupor. Feeling well? There's dark circles under your eyes. Where have you been sleeping? Well, for the last part of my travels, I didn't find many houses, and the ones I did see shooed me away, so... That's not an answer. And you? She whips around to glare at me. I shirk away. How did you miss the bags under his eyes? How clearly ill he is? I give a half-hearted shrug, but it's hard to answer her when she's so intense. I think he looks pretty good for a dead guy. The real reason I didn't notice anything wrong with him was because I was too scared from seeing a walking corpse. Of course, I didn't notice if he was a little worse for wear. He's supposed to be dead. Alama, he's supposed to be dead. Pretty good. With this hair and these clothes? You're practically tracking in dirt with every step. Can you even see through those bangs? Charlotte asks him the question, but immediately turns around, opening up drawers left and right. Aster starts to get nervous. Of course I can. It's just a little longer than I'm used to. We can fix that. Huh? She turns around, revealing a pair of scissors in her hand and a cold look in her eyes. I can fix that. Huh? Hey, I'm fine with this length. Just let me borrow a hairbrush and a bath and I'll be fine. Oh, definitely. After it gets a trim. You're not... Hey, Hazel, you're gonna say something, aren't you? A little trim wouldn't hurt. You can take a bath after she cuts a little off. How much is a little? Say, won't you sit down for me? No matter how much the glint in her eyes scare him, the thought of disobeying her was out of the question. Aster hesitantly steps over to where she's motioning to. He looks more like a lamb for slaughter. Chin up? Charlotte snips away at the dead ends. She keeps the scissors about an inch away from the tips, leaving just enough room to get the excess off and allow new growth. The trimmings fall to the floor around them. I just know I'll be forced to sweep them up before company arrives tonight. Snip, snip, snip. After a few moments, she finishes cutting and brushing his hair, fluffing it up as a last touch. She stands back, proud of her handiwork. Now you don't look so destitute. Just make sure to clean it good when you get out any extra trimmings that didn't fall out. All right, who's next? She turns to me, picking back up the scissors. You don't what? You don't feel good? Because I know you need a haircut. She holds up the bit of the tips of my hair to where I can see it. I didn't realize it was past my shoulders now. I'm fine with this length. A year ago, you wouldn't stop complaining once it hit the bottom of your neck. You just haven't wanted to take care of it. Sit down and it'll be quick. Like a child who's realized he wasn't going to be the only one punished, Aster smirks and steps away. I give up and reluctantly sit down. Snip, snip. I'm reminded of the last time she cut my hair. We were staying in a far-off town, preparing to meet with their governor. He was hosting a banquet for us to get rid of the thorn in his side, a sun mourner's compound just outside of his jurisdiction. She insisted we all look our best before the meeting with them, and as we would be asking for their help and assistance for the long trek. To her, that includes hair trims, for everyone. Aster stands back from us, admiring the mostly empty shelves lining the sitting room. He doesn't say anything, instead letting the silence be filled with the sound of the scissors. Charlotte then takes the brush and begins slowly brushing through the mess of my head. There's something calming about it, but I can't take my eyes off of him. Charlotte seems to have already warmed up enough to him. Maybe she thinks it's actually him. Maybe she's just playing nice. I don't know yet. I just want to know what's going on through his head. All done. Now, was that so bad? You do act like I'm going to cut you or something. I do still have a head, I guess. It feels like a weight's been lifted off me. I didn't trim that much. I was afraid you'd make him go bald as penance. I knew I should have been more wary. Now she has an idea for payback tonight after I'm asleep. Watch your step and lock the door. Don't encourage him. Tears form around her eyes. She glances between the both of us before quickly turning around to hide her face. Charlotte, I'm fine. Just, I've got to get an extra plate for food ready tonight. Get some rest before then. She leaves the room in a hurry, still covering her face. Aster looks at the ground. You should get a bath and some half-decent sleep before dinner tonight. I'll show you where you can sleep afterwards. My bed. Our home feels different as I walk down the halls alone with a stranger, briefly showing him each room as we pass by. The house is on edge, wondering why I brought him here and what this person will do next. Butter. Yeah, butter. Every step feels risky. Every word feels tense. You can use the bath here. It's a little bit small, but it does the job. Charlotte has the other bath on the other side of the flat. And here's my room. I let the door swing open to my bedroom. It's just as I left it a few hours ago. Clothes thrown haphazardly with a layer of dust growing on the furniture. I didn't wake up this morning expecting to come home with company. I would have tried cleaning up a little bit if I'd known. Probably. Aster steps in, taking notes of everything, as if there's much to see. There's a lot he could probably say about the state of the room, but he doesn't. We only have one guest bedroom, and Byrne will be already claiming it. Alexi will probably sleep on the couch tonight. So, at least while they're here, you can stay in my room. Really? There's an uptick in his voice, clearly surprised. It's not exactly how I wanted things to go either, but unless you want to sleep outside or in the hallway, yes. Tonight we'll find some blankets and make you a mat on the floor to sleep on. For right now, you can sleep in the bed. Should be more comfortable than grass, at least. His gaze meanders to the floor before looking back at me. Thank you. I know this is all so sudden, but I'll find a way to repay you all, to make amends. For now, though, all I can say is thank you. Again. Maybe it'll lose some of its meaning if I say it too much, though, so I need to hurry up and be useful. He laughs to himself. I find it hard to join him, though a small smile creeps up on my lips. Maybe he's here to kill me. That'd be better than him killing everyone else. Maybe he's just waiting to see how far we'll go for him before stabbing me but while I sleep tonight. Every day with you was hell. Alright, get cleaned up and then take a nap or something. Just try not to fall asleep in the tub and drown. I don't want to have to explain that. Oh, and you can see if any of my clothes will fit you. I doubt they will, but you never know. Oh, okay. With one last glance back, I leave him to it. Chapter 3, Dinner. How many chapters are there in this, out of curiosity? Let me go ahead and save. There we go. The smell of chicken broth permeates the halls as I walk back to find Charlotte busy in the kitchen. I never know what to do to help her when she's cooking, so I hover a couple feet away. A pot boils on the stove. Her knife chops through vegetables she's laid out. Words are hard to come by right now. Hi, Elizamar. Welcome in. All of us played a part in his death, but I was the one who dealt the final blow. I was the one who stabbed him, and then we all buried him. But months before that, he betrayed us. Instead of staying with us to shut down the Sun Mourners, he rejoined them. He was their final key to ending the world, and instead of stopping them... Charlotte stopped chopping an onion and scrapes it into the pot with the chicken. It's quiet, but I can see her give out an exasperated sigh. Would it be bad if I say I forget? You would not be the first. I played another visual novel, and the dev was in the chat, and I was asking for help with getting the one of the endings, and they were like, yeah, no, I forgot what options you have to pick to get that ending. They're like, yeah, I don't know which one you're supposed to pick. I'm like, you made the game. You're the only one who made the game. How do you... So it's not just you. This is a common trend, apparently. I think it's 13 or 14. Okay. I was just curious. Because, like, these chapters are going kind of fast. So, what do you think? She folds a dish towel and lays it on the counter before placing a hot skillet on top. Even though her mind is clearly elsewhere, she doesn't make any sloppy mistakes. What do you think? You can't answer it like that. I can't answer that. Then what do you expect me to say? She starts cutting a potato. Her movements are fast, hitting the chopping board with a clear cut each time, but slows down as she reaches the end. I think there's parts he hasn't told us yet, things he's still holding back on saying, things he doesn't know how to say. But I also think there's a lot he doesn't know. I don't think he fully understands himself or why things are happening this way. It's hard to say what his intentions are or what he's trying to do. It's about as hard as figuring out what was on his mind at any given point. Even now, they're both like complete strangers. At the corner of my eye, I can see her glance up at me. Does he know how he died? Yes and no. That's a no, then. He knows he was stabbed, but I don't think he knows who did it. If he remembers that. But you don't think he... I don't know. I feel my body sink down into a chair. I hold my head in my hands. I don't know, Charlotte. I don't know how much he knows or why he's here or what he's planning. An hour ago, I was sure that I had gone insane. That's still on the table. Maybe this is some kind of karmic retribution. There's a hand that starts rubbing my shoulder. I put my hand on the small of her back and pull her in just a bit closer, just enough to tell that she's real. How are we going to tell them? A contemplative murmur leaves her lips. There's nothing else to say, nothing else to plan. Whatever we decide will go horribly wrong. Yo! I hold the door open as Byrne struts inside, their arms full of bread and pastries. There's no telling how much Byrne bought or how many places they had to raid to get it all. Alexei silent follows behind them, carrying a couple of bags and a single bottle of wine. Come in, come in. She hugs them both around the neck, despite having seen them just this morning. A lot has happened since then, though. I feel a hand on my head, messing up my hair. Here, I brought you some pinwheels and croissants that you like. Just don't let them get moldy, okay? What's poppin'? Hi, Poppy. Welcome in. We're playing a yaoi game. Don't think this means you're gonna eat all that bread tonight. There's plenty of baked chicken and vegetables to eat before getting full on wheat. Charlotte whisks away one of the baskets in their hand and hurries down the hall with it. Alexei follows her, tossing his bags into the sitting room. Burn motions for me to come closer. I embrace them, their coats smelling like warm bakery. It's easy to see why kids like them. Their arms make you feel safe. After a short moment, we part. Say, everything's okay, isn't it? What kind of vague question is that? I didn't hug them for too long, did I? You know, just making sure everything's all right. Hi, Sammy. Charlotte told us you're in between jobs right now. Even if it's not exactly what you want to do, I think it's more important to put your mind to work on something, even if it's not for the money. Give yourself something to focus on, especially if it has you around others. You get what I mean? The coy look in their eyes betrays the soft smile on their lips. I look away towards the ground. Yes, I do. I'll keep it in mind. I lift my head to look up at them, but my head is pushed down. They mess with my hair even more. Hey! Do more than just keep it in mind, okay? Or I'll drag you to the children's home and make you perform for volunteer work. Well, maybe then we'll feed you lunch. Depends on how good you play. They laugh at their own idea. I can't help but smile back. That wouldn't be too bad. You ever perform mainly kids? A few times. They'd be fine. I'll have to bring you in sometime this week. Sounds like a plan. We rejoin Charlotte and Alexi in the kitchen. With 4 of us in here, it has quickly become crowded. I take the rest of the bread from Bern and put it up. Chardonnay will go great with what I made. It's like you already knew what I had in mind. I remembered you liked it. He glances over at me as I walk closer before turning back to what he was doing. Charlotte waves her hands towards the bottle. I'm sure we'll all help drink it, won't we? I'll take a glass. You'll have to take more than that if we want to get through the bottle. It's not like it'll spoil that quickly. We'll both be in town for a few days. Great, more time to bring it out. She pops the top and begins pouring 4 glasses. You don't need a special occasion to bring it out. Sure we do. This wasn't cheap, you know. It wasn't very much. Alexei takes a slow sip from his glass. Despite his typically quiet nature, Alexei is even more soft-spoken tonight than usual. I decide to let Charlotte do most of the talking. Your last hunt must have gone really well, huh? I heard you were able to find several boars. I found more than I was able to kill and bring back. Will you hunt the rest when you go back? No, not yet. They need some time to mature and repopulate the area. I might throw the ecosystem out of order if I take out too many. She holds her hand to her face, cradling her cheek with a sad look on it. The butchers won't be too happy to hear that. Just means I'll have to find another hunting place when I leave. It also means no more nice wine for a while. True. Charlotte turns back to the stove and begins pouring some vegetables into a serving bowl. Hi, Golden Dino. Welcome in. Hazel, can you set the table for me? Alexei, put the chicken on the table. I nod and head to her cabinet. I reach for the plates when I remember. We don't need 4 plates. We need 5. We have an extra person in the house tonight. A cold shiver runs down my back. I forgot so quickly. You just watched the first 3 Saw movies? Oh my god. We watched Scream, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. We watched the Scream movie from 1996. Oh, such a classic, dude. It was so much fun. I'm planning on hopefully watching I Know What You Did Last Summer this weekend for community night. We've been having some horror movie good time, but I do like the Saw movies. The Saw movies are a classic. I think those were probably the first horror movies I actually watched were the Saw movies. I'm pretty sure. No, it's not that I forgot. It's that I intentionally pushed him out of my mind. I didn't want to have to think about him, not while they're here. They haven't noticed anything yet, but I don't know how long this will last. Our fate might be over in an hour, or it might be over tonight. If only we could delay it a little longer. To wait until we understand more about him, when we're able to understand his motivations. With them staying the night, it'll be nigh impossible to keep it a secret through the night. Should we at least wait until after dinner? Will they lose their appetite? Will they get up and leave or start a fight? Hey, Charlotte? The words come out of my mouth before I fully understand what I want to say next. But anything I had planned is lost. There's a scream from the other end of the flat. I turn around. Charlotte and Alexi are standing beside the kitchen table. Burn is... Where's Burn? Where did they go? Oh shit, Burn went to go to the bathroom, huh? Are you gonna go to HorrorCon 2026? Are there actual horror conventions? I don't know. I sprint away from the cabinet and make a dash towards the scream. The pit in my stomach grows with each step. There's only one reason. Only one. Only one. I throw open my door, which was already left ajar. At the foot of my bed is Burn, sprawled on the ground with an incredulous look on their face. Sitting up in my bed is Aster, who almost looks more scared. What? Burn! Just a few steps behind me, Charlotte and Alexi round the corner and walk into the threshold. They both take a step back at the scene. This isn't what it looks like, or what are you doing in my room, Burn? There's also conventions for certain horror movies. Oh, are there? Are there, Golden Dino? Gal evening. Hi, J-Bomb. Welcome in. Like Halloween and Friday the 13th. My roommate is a huge fan of Friday the 13th, actually. They're a big fan of that one. I feel like I should save here. Let's go with... This isn't what it looks like. Listen, this isn't what it looks like. Isn't what? Burn stands, eyeing Aster and myself warily. They back up against the wall. What does this look like to you? No, wait. You knew. Their wary gaze turns into something sharper, more fearful. To the side, Alexi throws a disdainful look at me. This isn't what it looks like, believe me. This is Aster. He's something of a doppelganger. A doppelganger. I found him today, loitering around, though I guess it'd be more accurate to say he found me. Do you know any other horror movie conventions? Are you trying to set me up for that? Is that what is it just your life goal to see how many times I can do the SawCon joke? Is that what it is? You can guess what my reaction was. He says he's not entirely him, though. He looks like him and he has a few of his memories, but not everything. I try to gloss over that part as quickly as possible to get to the rest of it. That's best to let him try to explain. I'm not doing a setup? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if there are any horror conventions. I'm not aware of them. He's homeless and desperately needs some kind of help, so I brought him back here. There's not a lot else I could do. You could say something at any time, you know. Hi? Burn and Alexi tense up at the sound of his voice. Even if it was only 2 quick words, it's enough to send a jolt through them. Also, is SawCon real? I don't know. I only know it from the D's Nuts joke, dude. What Hazel said is right. You can think of me as something of a doppelganger of him. I'm a person that looks like him and has parts of his memory. My first actual memories from a few months ago, probably right after he died. He looks between us before looking back down and continuing. I traveled around on my own, trying to figure out who I was. At first I assumed I was him, but after a while I realized I couldn't be. I'm someone else, so I decided to find one of you. I don't fully know what happened during his life, but I know he died young. That's why I want to make my own memories. I'm my own person. I have my own name. It's all that's mine, so I want my own memories too. The room falls deathly silent. Even breathing feels hard with the stillness in the air. Aster had said that there was to be said, except... Why us? Alexi steps further into my room, putting a foot in front of Charlotte. Despite everything Aster said, him and Burn still have a sour, untrusting look. I need help. There's not really anyone else I can go to. I don't have a family of my own. He doesn't have one either anymore. That doesn't mean we have to help you. This is your problem. Find someone else. You're the only ones by memory that seem trustworthy. Trustworthy? You think you know anything about that? Byrne steps forward, but Charlotte cuts them off. Supper will get cold if we don't eat it now. Come on, let's eat. She grabs Alexei and drags him out the door before he even has a chance to argue. Byrne takes a long look at Aster and then back at me. Don't just go along with everything because of what he says. We'll talk about this later. With that, they stomp out the room. A prickling sensation crawls up my neck as I realize I've been holding my breath. In a big sigh, I let it all out, almost falling to the floor in the process. My heart is about to beat out of my chest. I guess that could have gone worse. Will you bring me a plate after everyone's done? All I can do is nod. I shut the door on my way out. I grab my glass and sit down at the table. The exhaustion of the day is probably apparent on my face, but there's nothing I can do about that, or care to. Charlotte sets the last dish down, an ornate gravy boat she found from a traveling merchant who let her have it for a discount, and takes her apron off. The table is covered in a variety of foods from every color of the rainbow, from roasted chicken to steamed vegetables to various other sides. The low candlelight makes the feast look even more extravagant, fit for the nobles we used to meet. Byrne grabs a roll, the sour look on their face alleviated with each bite. They were always the hangry type, I guess. Where's the plates? Huh? There's only 4 plates on the table. We need 5. He'll be staying here even if the 2 of us try to kick him out, won't he? Then he should eat with us. His expression remained rather neutral, but there's still tension with each of his words. So... I'll get another plate. It's been so long since we all ate together. She springs up, suddenly excited by the thought of it. A meal together like old times. Putting the past behind us and making a new future going forward. Don't get me wrong, Charlotte. I don't trust the bastard as far as I can throw him. But if he's gonna be under this roof, then I don't want him off in a different room. I want to keep an eye on him. Right. Her smile falters as she sets the 5th plate on the table. I get up, with Byrne following behind me, and go back to my room. Aster, I know you can't be asleep already. I push his shoulder, making him panic. I'm up! He scrambles as he falls up the bed, landing on the side across from us. Why am I up? Is it morning already? It's barely been 5 minutes. They want you to come eat with us. Now come on, or Alexei will have eaten all the scalloped potatoes. Okay. He straightens his shirt, trying to make himself look somewhat presentable. Anything to avoid Byrne's cold stare. Why'd you let him sleep in your room? You're staying in the guest room? Because you're staying in the guest room, and it only has 1 bed. Since I'm the one that brought him here, then I'll be the one that put up with him. Some immediately charming characters. Yeah, they are very cute looking. I'll put him out on the floor or something after dinner. But why were you in my room earlier? They already turned towards the kitchen, not bothering to answer me. The meal that followed was the most suffocating I'd ever had, to say the least. Aster refuses to talk unless prompted to, and even then his responses are mostly made up of mumbles and stutters. It's plain to see that this can't exactly be him given how many nervous antics Aster has, but it's still hard to digest food sitting next to someone you buried. Charlotte does her best to alleviate some of the tension by diverting the conversations to more benign topics like Byrne's job. These help for a few moments, but ultimately dissolve back into a quiet meal. Feels like everything is tiring to talk about. I take a slow bite of the fried corn. It's not overly sweet and warms me up as I swallow it. Despite how good the meal is, I'm struggling to eat anymore. To my side, Aster pokes at the chicken thigh on his plate. Alexei takes his 6th bread roll, and Charlotte sips her wine slowly. Why did he betray us? Charlotte's wine glass hits the table with a louder than normal clink. Alexei munches on his bread in silence, his expression darkening. I look up at Byrne. They stare at Aster. It's a loveless look in their eye, but one that doesn't convey anger so much as disappointment. Despite all of our attempts to move on, to wash the blood off our hands, That was the one question I always thought would go unanswered. The one that no one alive could answer. Until now. Aster stops poking his chicken, but doesn't look concerned by the question. If anything, he was most likely preparing for it the entire day. I don't know. Bullshit. Aster barely gets the words out before Byrne cuts him off. He looks sad. If I had to guess, he felt like he was trapped. No matter what he did, he would never be able to fully leave the cult. To my surprise, Charlotte is the one who speaks up. But he did. He was able to travel the world. Aster sighs. But they always found him, no matter what. He probably thought it was only a matter of time. Yeah, I don't know why I bothered asking you. It's not like someone else would understand him, or tell us. Byrne stands, grabbing their plate. Thanks for the meal, Charlotte. It was good. Did you get enough to eat? She has to say it in a hurry as Byrne's already putting their plate away to be cleaned. I'm fine. Alexei wordlessly follows suit, leaving the dinner table. Charlotte stares at her plate, unable to keep her solemn expression tucked away any longer. I look away before she starts crying again. Aww. A cold grasp clamps itself around my throat. It's so hard to breathe with an atmosphere like this, but it's even harder to find any words to say. Hey! Aster stands up, abruptly slamming his hands down on the table. It's enough to make me jump in my seat and stop everyone in their tracks. We all look at him in bewilderment. Just because you're mad at me, that doesn't mean... It doesn't mean you can all leave the dishes for Charlotte to clean. Aww. He's right. He's right and he should say it. A stunned silence hangs in the air. Aster practically looks like he's on the verge of tears. Meanwhile, Byrne and Alexei look like they were caught in the act. No, I was gonna come back later. I'm just putting my plate up before I clean the dirty dishes. Aster sits back down, having made a statement. Charlotte nibbles on a slice of carrot. I can tell she's trying to hide her smile. With a small sigh of relief, I help them clean up. Everyone's like, no, we weren't gonna do that. We were totally gonna wash our dishes. I open the dusty hallway closet. It slowly creaks open to reveal nothing. Another bust. Alexei grabs his own blankets for the couch a while ago, but when he did, I realized that was probably all we had. We've barely been in this place for a few months. It shouldn't be a surprise that we only have enough pillows and blankets for a max of 4 people. But here I am, trying to find something from nothing. I close the door and make my walk of defeat back to my room. Oh no, I guess we'll simply have to share the bed, Aster. Oh dear, whatever shall we do? And there was only one bed, Aster. Good night. Before I'm able to, Charlotte waves at me from the other end of the hall. Good night. I open my mouth to say something else, but decide against it. Lock your door tonight. But I doubt I have to warn her. Aster sits up when he sees me walk in. He looks up at me expectantly, curious why I'm empty-handed. Alexei took the rest of the blankets we have. Well, it's more like we only have enough for one extra person. The rest of the statement, we weren't expecting a 5th person to ever be here, goes without saying. Oh. His voice is small, as if I needed any more guilt-tripping in my life. I scratch the back of my head and look back at the mirror to my side. Oh, that's what we look like? Oh. My hair is shorter now, much closer than it was a month ago. When it trimmed back, I'm able to better see the gaunt look to my face. My slimmer than usual cheeks, my baggy eyes. Like a ghost, Aster rests on the edge of my bed behind me, waiting for my next move. He knows more than he's letting on. Maybe he even knows why Cyrus betrayed us. Maybe this is his prelude to killing us all in our sleep. But the fact still remains, I killed him. I tried to knock him out. I tried to gravely injure him, and when that didn't work, well, change of plans. When they leave, you can stay in the guest bedroom, but until then, you can sleep in my bed. Huh? For just a tiny moment, his voice hits the cusp of cracking. His eyes grow wider. Really? It's a big enough bed for two. You'll have one side, I'll have the other. I doubt many of my clothes will fit you, though. Tomorrow you can beg Bern or Alexi for something more your size. Aster doesn't say anything, instead looking away almost bashfully. He palms the back of his neck. Does he remember? Good night. Good night. A sudden shock on the door sent a jolt through me. I managed to respond, but almost too eagerly. My whole body is on needles. I don't know the last time I was on this on edge. Hopefully I'll be able to sleep it off. I grab some clothes and head to the bathroom to change. I normally don't sleep in a binder, but I also normally don't sleep in the same bed as someone. Oh my god, we're gonna sleep in a binder? No, that's not good. You never sleep in a binder. That's so bad for you. Oh my god. I don't know how many of you guys wear a binder, but don't sleep in a binder, all right? It's compressing you. You should be wearing binders for limited amounts of hours because it's literally compressing your like chest. It could fuck up your rib cage, all right? You could have trouble breathing and shit. Don't wear a binder to sleep, all right? Okay? Good. Glad we had this combo. When I walk back into the room, Aster doesn't look at me, much less face me. His head is pushed deep into his pillow with the covers drawn up, sort of like a child pretending to be asleep. I crawl into bed and lay my head down. If I die tonight, if he kills me with his own hands, then that is my atonement. Good night. That night, I dreamt about how I first met him. Washing dishes was, by far, the worst part of my day, every day, seconded only by waiting tables. Nothing is as soul-sucking as customer service, but washing dishes comes close. I was soaked, and I scrubbed, and I rinsed, and I dried. Surprisingly, you can't finish cleaning dishes for a restaurant in just a few minutes. You'd think that'd be obvious, but every day I tried to avoid that reality. Every single day. Washing, cleaning, waiting. When I was younger, I dreamed of joining a traveling circus or a caravan of performers. Any moment I wasn't cleaning or serving, I would learn to play an instrument. I wasn't very good, but I had a childish hope that one day we'd have a customer who would take an interest in my music and offer me a job far, far away from here. Somewhere where life was more than washing and rinsing and drying. And then there was a stray cat. The sounds weren't overly loud, but it was enough to break me from my concentration on the dishes. I tossed the drying rag to the side and walked back out. Hey, Scram! Hi, Darren. My voice was carried by the wind as soon as I stepped outside. There wasn't any stray cats meowing, but instead... a man laid out among the fresh linen I had just put up an hour ago. Hey! I ran over to him, flipping him over to see his face. His eyes were closed, but I could tell he was in some sort of pain. After a cursory inspection, I didn't see any blood or injuries, just a pale man. So thank you for the hydrate, Darren. I appreciate it. Yeah, I will be sipping my water. When did y'all summon that many Shimaderes? What the fuck? When did all of those appear? I just look casually over at the screen and see them all piled up in the corner. They really like that corner, huh? Hey, who are you? You couldn't even look up at me. Damn it. I dragged him inside the kitchen and propped him up against the wall. So good. His stomach rumbled, but not nearly as terrible as it was before. It's so hard to believe all those noises were coming from a person's stomach. Is that really all you needed? Some food? Oh, yeah, thank you. He slurped up the rest of the meal before I could even tell him he was almost done. 2 whole servings gone in just a few minutes. Oh, that really hit the spot. I'd hope it did after all you ate. Huh? I guess I was a bit parched. You ate more than most families do in one sitting. What, have you not eaten in weeks? You could say that, yeah. He grinned at me, a smile spread from ear to ear. It was bright enough to make me think it was insincere, but there was something to it. Why have you been skipping meals? I'm on the run. From the cops? From my family. What'd you do? You automatically assume it's my fault? You're the one on the run. Let's just say I didn't like living there. What was it like? You ask all your patrons that? I crossed my legs, sitting down beside him. Well, if he's not paying, he's not a patron, so it's a free game, I suppose. Most of our patrons are paying customers, so it's great. I figure you won't be paying anytime soon, so the least you could do is give me a reason to tell my parents why we're missing a few bowls of soup and bread. I'm not a freeloader, he murmured to himself, probably thinking up a story to tell. It didn't really matter to me, though it would be lying to say I wasn't at least a little bit interested in why he fled from home. Fleeing home, running away, it was something I never actually considered. I'd always hoped someone would whisk me away in the promise of a new exciting life, rather than me leaving all by myself without any notice. Families can be strict, you know? Mine were overly so. That's why I'm out on my own now. My own life, my own rules, my own journey. Who wouldn't want that? And what does that entail? Exploring the country, traveling from town to town, listening to the news. His voice became hushed as he looked around the kitchen before continuing. Can you keep a secret? Depends. Is it a they'll throw you in jail kind of secret? You really think I'm a criminal, don't you? I don't know, stranger. What's the secret? He leaned in closer, his eyes narrowed. I hadn't been nervous before, but I swallowed hard at this. I'm hunting down a cult. Hunting? A cult? Oh, you are listening. That's right. I'm chasing down a cult and its members. I think they're planning something dangerous, and I don't want that to happen. Right now I'm looking for more info on what exactly they have planned. You think they're doing something dangerous? And where did you get that information? Let's just say I overheard it at a previous place I was staying at. Something really heinous, and I want to find out more. Even if they weren't, it's a cult. Cults shouldn't exist. His words barely registered with me at the time. I'd heard words like cult before, but I didn't have a solid grasp on it. But to say that something shouldn't exist, that was hard to wrap my head around. Who gets to decide what should and shouldn't exist? Why? He paused for a moment, just to stare at me. Like his words were hard for me to understand, mine must have been equally hard for him. Because they're a cult. Do you know what that means? Of course. What is it then? I'm an adult, you know. You are? A cult is just some place for stupid people to get brainwashed. They're not stupid. He had said it so quietly, so precisely. I can still remember his exact cadence even now. It sent a shiver through my... They're not stupid. They're just vulnerable. They're gullible. They're in precarious positions. They have no outside assistance. They're not stupid. They're being taken advantage of. I couldn't find any words to respond with. Instead, I just mumbled something and scratched my neck. People don't join cults because they don't know better. They join cults because they need the support, and the group makes them think that they'll get that help when they need, whether it's emotional, physical, financial, or all of the above. The cult provides that support group to anyone willing to throw away their old life and start anew. But once you get in, you can't just walk out. And you think that needs to be destroyed? Yes, because it's all a lie. A cult isn't there to help people. It's there for it to help its own agenda. Cults aren't formed to be a public service. They're formed by egomaniacs to satiate their need of wanting control and status. That's actually a really kind way to talk about cult victims. It is, and it's also true. It's very true. I mean, look at the cult of Scientology. A lot of the people who are there aren't stupid. They're like scientists and doctors and stuff like that. Anybody can fall for a cult. If you're desperate enough, you can fall for a cult. As soon as you think that you're too smart to fall for a cult, you are one of the prime easy targets to fall for a cult. All right? I've seen a lot of cult documentaries. I've seen a lot of true crime videos detailing cults. You'd be surprised the people who supposedly thought that they were immune from being recruited into a cult and ended up becoming like the right-hand man. It's crazy. All they care about's themselves, and they'll do anything to maintain that power, lauding it over their members. You know an awful lot about this. I thought all adults knew what a cult was. He leaned back against the wall, folding his arms. I guess you don't have many people like that coming through this small town. Must be nice, living so peacefully. Peaceful? You mean boring? Customers day in and day out. All I do is take their orders and cleaning. Repeat that every single day. Hanging around a disjointed group of people to satisfy a thirst for belonging? Can't imagine that, fellow cheddars? Yeah, except I'm not like making you sacrifice and isolate yourselves from your families, you know? Like there's a difference between a community and a cult. This is a community. A cult would be if I told you that you should leave your family and your friends and that we should be the only community that you have. Yeah. I felt like, especially in today's world, it was important to really hammer in that there are people being taken advantage of, and that could be you. For sure. For sure. I think that is a really important point to make, because a lot of people think, oh, they must have been stupid to fall for that. But like, cults don't start off with the virgin sacrifices and the Kool-Aid and all of that stuff. It starts small, right? It starts with, this is a place where we can all get together and share our burdens and share our woes. This is a place for us to practice mindfulness and learn and grow spiritually, you know, to connect with ourselves. That's how they start, you know? They start benign. They start simple. They start with, things are really tough and scary in the world, aren't they? Don't you want a place that you can be reassured that other people also recognize and want to relax together with? Don't you want to have people that you can trust, people that you can consider your family? And most people who are scared of the situation of the world around them, who don't have that support system already, are gonna be like, fuck yeah, I want that. Yes, of course. So they go in. And it starts small. They go, okay, well, let's have a couple of ground rules. You know, this is the person who's running. You know, they have a lot of stuff going for them, so we trust them. We trust their word, right? So they say that we should start doing this now. And it's something small. Maybe it's, oh, you know, we're looking into really diving deeper into the spirituality aspect, you know? Maybe we'll start doing daily prayers. And you go, okay, well, it's just a daily prayer. We're a spiritual group. Yeah, sure, why not? We can do a daily prayer. But then it starts going, oh, but remember, we're all trying to, you know, attain a higher version of ourselves. So we need to start acting like a higher version of ourselves. So what can we do? Well, maybe we need to start cutting out some of the bad things. So let's make sure we're cutting out things that are not helpful to us. And what's not helpful to us? Maybe TV, maybe the news. Let's cut out the news. Let's stop listening to the news, everybody. And you go, well, it is kind of scary listening to the news right now. So maybe I will stop, right? And they go, okay. Now you need to be mindful of what you're thinking, you know? So let's start practicing how we're going to start thinking, right? We're going to control what we think about. So we're going to start diverting it, you know? So that's how it goes. It's incremental. It's never all at once. You got to think of it like the frog in the pot of boiling water, right? If you throw a frog into a pot of already boiling water, that frog is immediately going to hop out. Right? It's not going to stay in there. It's going to immediately be like, whoa, Jesus Christ, and it's going to hop out. But if you put the frog in warm water, it'll probably chill in there. It'll probably stay in the water. And then you slowly turn up the temperature. And bit by bit, the water's going to get hotter and hotter. But it's at a temperature change and an increase that the frog is not really noticing. Because, well, the water was already a little bit warm when it got in. It's not really feeling that temperature change. And then next thing you know, it's starting to get a little steamy. And then it's starting to get to a boil. And the next thing you know, that frog is in that boiling pot. Yeah, that's how I get to my boiling showers. Oh no, I dive straight into my boiling showers. I look like a lobster by the time I'm out of my showers. I do enjoy a nice boiling shower. I'm the exception though. I recognize I'm an outlier when it comes to that. I'm headed straight into the hot shower. But like I said, I'm just built different. That's I'm the exception, not the rule. But that is the thing with cults though. That's why it's so important for if somebody you love and care about is in a cult, the best thing for you to do is not to be like, you're in a cult, you need to leave it. That's only going to throw them further into it. What you need to do is just tell them, I love you, I care about you, and I will always, always, always be here for you. No matter what, if you ever need me, I am always here for you. Right? Showing that no matter what, you're not going to abandon them, you're not going to leave them, you're not going to judge them. That makes them more likely to finally approach you when something happens. When something really serious happens and they realize that maybe there is something wrong, that maybe there is something a little crazy, they recognize that there is still a line outside. Because the key thing to make cults work is that isolation from everyone around them, from all the outside sources. That's why cult members cut off their family. They cut off their friends. They usually move in together into the same commune, into the same area. It's because that's a way of forcing control by being, these are the only people you can trust. These are the only people you can hang around. These are the only people you can communicate with. These are the only people who will ever understand you, who will ever love you, right? Yeah, it's like being in a toxic / abusive relationship. Yeah, I mean, there was a cult analysis person, like a psychologist who studies cults. They basically said an abusive / toxic relationship is basically a cult of two people. It's a cult of two people. Right? And that's the minimum you need to have a cult, is two people. So it really is just a matter of understanding and recognizing the importance of outside people, you know? You could draw a lot of comparisons with that metaphor, but it's heavier than this. Yaoi game deserves, yeah. It's a beautiful yaoi game, but yeah, it is I think something that should be a lot of cultists do. Just genuinely the best thing you can do for them is to be empathetic to them, be a kind person to them, and recognize that that could have been you. If you went through a lot of the same things that they went through, that could have very much been you. And that's in their same footsteps. Now currently, you know, wearing the gray sweatpants and all of that, you know. You gotta be careful. Sounds like bliss. If it sounds so good, then why don't you do it yourself instead of running around? Can't. Who else is willing to dismantle an entire cult? The constables? They gave me a look, like my suggestion was a joke. Nobody else sees them as a threat, and the people that do are too scared of retaliation. So it's up to little old me. And that's why you were starving to death? Ugh, thank you for saving me, really. Will your parents be okay with that? Don't worry about it. He didn't pry. Then you wouldn't also happen to have a bed or a blanket for me to sleep on for one night, would you? Depends. I don't help strangers. My name is Cyrus. It's nice to meet you. May not be an ASMR stream, but it's still cozy. Yeah, get cozy, lazy. Nice and snuggly. Mm-hmm. I'm Hazel. Chapter 4, Markets. The rustling of sheets beside me wakes me up. My shoulders feel stiff as I push myself onto my elbows. Daylight saturates the room. It's almost blinding. I should lay back down. A figure emerges from the corner of my eye. With a hand at his face, he turns to me. It's Cyrus. I hit the ground, falling out of my bed. My ass hits the floor with a painful thud. The pain shoots up my spine, radiating everywhere. We got a rich boy. He's so pretty. Hey, are you okay? The fall hurts like hell, but it brings me back to my senses. Aster crouches beside me, holding his hands halfway out for me to grab. That's right. This man is Aster. This isn't Cyrus. Maybe. Ow. I take his hand. For some reason, I was expecting it to be cold and clammy, but it's rather warm. He helps me to my feet. I try not to wake you, but I guess I failed. It's alright, I had a nightmare. I rest on the edge of my bed. It's going to be a few minutes before my heart calms down after that. Aster still looks concerned, but I think that's mostly placated him. It was just an excuse, but hopefully he won't ask more. He fiddles with his cuffs. I can already tell something on his mind, but he won't act on it. Oh, that's right. I'll need some more clothes while he's staying here. Charlotte was able to wash his last night, but it'll be a pain if he only has that and a few pieces of mine that fit him. You need some stuff of your own, don't you? Let's ask Berna or Lexi if they have any spare clothes after breakfast. Sure. I can't believe them. How? How do neither of them have more than a handful of outfits between the two of them? It's one thing that none of it fits them. It's another thing that neither of them felt like packing much. They decided to do without. I can play the violin with a good jacket, but I've never fiddled with cuffs. I believe in you, J-Palm. You can put your mind to it. You can do anything. I believe in you. Looks like we'll have to go shopping. We don't have much, but we should be able to find you at least another pair of shirts and pants for cheap. Are you leaving? Charlotte walks up, her hair and apron half covered in flour. When she gets deep into cooking, it's a red flag to stay far away. Yeah, neither of them had another outfit for him. Here. She pats around her apron, searching for something. Her right hand pulls out a crumpled note. Pick these up for me, okay? And here's some coins to get it with. Before I can ask anything else, she's gone again. Maybe this won't take too long? Aster doesn't look too sure. The cloudiness of yesterday is a distant memory as sunshine pours down from above. It's a nice reprieve from the dreariness, but I know it's only temporary. Snow sticks to the ground around us as we walk back to the square, the same place where I met Aster just yesterday. We walked together to the square. We would have, at least, if we weren't stopping every few feet for him to gawk at everything. Everything in town seemed to catch his eye, making him wander off and ask what's what. Hazel, look at the stall. They're doing basket weaving. The baskets are so intricate. I don't know if I could do something that delicate. Say, have you ever tried something like this? No? These skewers smell so good. They even have vegetables on them. I barely have a few coins on me, though. Do we have any leftovers from last night? Hey, they have puppies for sale over here. The one with the spots on around its nose is so cute. Have you ever considered getting a pet? You're allergic to cats, though, aren't you? Maybe a dog would make things livelier at home? What are we doing here? What is this? He acts like an excitable child seeing everything for the first time. Wait. Hey, how old are you? My age? He pauses, bringing his hand to his chin. Bro getting excited over basket weaving? Hell yeah, dude. Well, he was around 22 when he died, wasn't he? So, you're 22? But I don't have any memories from before a few months ago, so maybe I'm a few months old? Does that make me a child? He does a twirl and saunters off to the next stall at the market. Is he seriously not upset by that? That he has no clue who he was months ago? Or even weirder, the possibility he didn't exist a few months ago? I considered him childish, but that's not quite it. He clearly has the experience and mental awareness of an adult. I don't know if that stems from Cyrus's memories or somewhere else, though. Cyrus would act out, but he always kept things close to himself. He rarely let his real emotions shine through and always kept people at arm's length. It was easier to manage people if they were an observable distance rather than close enough to truly know you, but Aster's personality is more like, Hazel, come look at this! Like he's finally able to be carefree. Will that suit you? Aster's cheeks are flushed, his eyes wide in excitement. He sneaks another glance inside the bag he's carrying. Any useful skill I don't know is kind of exciting. It is! Honestly, a lot of things have such an amazing, craftsmanship to them. It's so cool to see. Knitting would go hard, but I need some tea and metal songs. Oh, you definitely could. I know a lot of knitters like to watch, Netflix and stuff while they're knitting. It's very rare that you find a knitter that's doing, just solely knitting, just locked in on that. Usually they're knitting while they're doing other things. Yes, thank you. I'll take good care of these clothes. If you knot any faster, you'll make yourself dizzy. It's only one more undershirt and pant, but it should last you a while. Now you can save up to fix the scuff on your boots and jacket. The passion in his eyes fades. Save up. If you're gonna stay with Charlotte and I, then you'll have to do your share. That means helping pay for food. And that means... His shoulders slump terribly. A job. Come on, it's not that bad. There's gotta be something you're good at. He thinks for a moment before perking up. I'm good at public speaking. Let's not let the former cult leader talk to the masses. Anything else? He scratches the back of his head. I'm guessing combat skills aren't in high demand much, or at least around here, though it's not like I have a weapon anyway. What do you do? Do you play the violin like yesterday? I realized that was his first impression of me after months, and it wasn't a great one, to say the least. I shake my head. No, that's more of a rare occasion. I normally do odd jobs around town, but nothing's come up recently. Let's go around town, see if they have anything today. You can just tag along, okay? Aster doesn't say anything, instead just nodding. There's a pitiful look to his face. We travel to the local inn, where occasionally has work for me to do. Usually along the lines of moving furniture around or fetching anything they need. Today, however, a group of travelers loiter around outside. Their cart and luggage fill the immediate area, making quite a scene. They're all rather noisy, some looking around irritatedly. Ignoring them, we head inside. The small lobby is filled with even more travelers who look much more frustrated than those outside. Several of them look like they're traveling together rather than separate groups. A few disgruntled travelers stand at the main desk, hounding the clerk. What do you mean they aren't fixing the bridge? That's what the telegram said. I'm sure they'd fix it if they could. Well, why don't you send them a message back? The burly man leans over the counter, but a hand pulls him back. Sir, I didn't know you worked here. His words are said with an innocent but terse cadence. All of the travelers immediately turn to look at who'd asked such a ridiculous question. Who? What's this about the bridge? Did something happen to it? The innkeeper stands there, transfixed for a moment from the sudden change of events. Yes, I received a telegram this morning saying the bridge froze over last night and it's too unstable to cross right now. They've never had it freeze over this bad. And we're stuck here because of it. What are we supposed to do now? Wait till spring comes around? We got a convoy of goods to deliver several towns over, and we're already losing time. She cowers behind the desk. I'm sorry. I step up beside Aster. Don't apologize for something you couldn't control. Is it the northern bridge? Yes. She meekly points to the hand-drawn map on the wall with various landmarks outlined on it. To the north, there's a long bridge that crosses a smaller part of the river. It's smaller, but it would still be extremely hard to cross without the bridge. Maybe there's something we can do. Let's go see what the problem is. Aster nods with a confident grin on his face. It takes us almost an hour to walk to the outskirts of town. Ahead, we can see even more people lining up, surrounding the bridge. Some are town workers, busy trying to inspect the bridge, while others are more travelers upset that they've been stopped. This isn't gonna work. A pair of workers from town inspect the first few planks on the bridge. They appear deep in thought, though I can't immediately tell what the problem is. Aster approaches with little hesitation. Hello, what seems to be the issue? Both of their faces immediately turn sour. They've probably only heard that question 100 times today. Only one of the men looks up at us. Try walking across it. He throws his hands out, waving towards the bridge. Without another word, Aster steps on the bridge, only to immediately land on his ass. Ow! I pull him up by his shoulders, dragging him a step backward onto land. It was snowing yesterday, but not nearly enough to ice over the entire bridge like this. And the way Aster fell as soon as he touched it almost seems... Is that some kind of freezing spell? There's something natural about it, alright. Anyone who tries crossing it basically gets thrown off. You can barely even touch the bridge without hurting yourself. Aster leans forward, massaging his back. He looks more confused than hurt, though. And so thank you, Alex, for the hydrate. Welcome in, Condorcito. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'll sip my water. Ah, so refreshing. It was fine yesterday, though. Yesterday? Yeah, I crossed over this bridge yesterday to get into town. I pause. His words seem passive enough, but I can't help but wonder if there's more of a connection going on here. He shows up out of nowhere, and the day afterwards, the major route for leaving the city to head north is completely blocked by unnatural means. I'm so eepy. Get cozy. Yeah, get comfy. Get your blanket, your pillow. You can lie down. Have me play on your phone. But I can't say anything definitive just yet. The two occurrences might be unrelated. Maybe it's a spell gone wrong. Maybe it was some thief trying to spring a trap. There are other reasons. Aster, did you notice anything off yesterday? He perks up at the mention of his name. Not that I can recall, no. There didn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary. I just... His words trail off before he can finish. He swallows. I felt I had to come south yesterday. I'm glad I did. When he looks back at me, it's with this saccharine, sweet smile. It exudes confidence and trust. It's not a smile you flash at someone who stabbed you. I unconsciously step back, looking away. Aster steps back towards the bridge, bending down to examine one of the planks beside the worker. He silently watches them poke and prod it to no avail. Say, what kind of magic have you tried on this thing? One of the workers grunts at him. A few portable fireball spells, that's about all we got. That's it? Does nobody around here know magic? They both turn to him, their scowls turning into a stronger ire. If they could, don't you think we would have asked by now? We want a few spells ain't enough to fix this mess. Aster looks at me. Reluctantly, I step forward. I know a fair amount of magic. I can help, if you'd like. The workers both stumble back, surprised to hear their solution walked right up to them. They quickly stand, getting out of the way. By all means. They leave, walking away to do whatever else needs to be done almost too happily. I sigh, bending down beside Aster. Putting me on the spot, huh? They didn't seem like they'd go away until they heard some reassurance. I eye him up and down. And you couldn't give them that? He looks at me surprised for a moment before a half-embarrassed grin breaks out on his face. You realized? Not nearly as good as magic as you, so I thought it'd be better to let a pro handle it. Uh-huh. So he can use magic, he just doesn't want to. Cyrus would pull the same stuff on me. Say, why does no one here practice magic? Aster asks it, but doesn't look at me, his eyes wandering across the bridge. There's a few who do, but by and large, this town is more laid back. The artisans here know enough magic to help with their craft, but that's about it. Townsfolk see magic more as a tool than a status symbol. It's not flashy, so they don't go out of their way to learn more unless they have a passion for it. That's one of the things that made us want to settle down here. He nods. It was something the two of us had talked about from time to time, where we'd like to live after defeating the cult. At first, Cyrus almost hated to talk about it. He dodged the line of thinking any time he could, either ignoring it, changing the topic, or giving non-answers like, I'd like to still travel the world, but as time grew on, he became more open about it. Whatever you think is nice can't be half bad. I touched the thin layer of almost invisible ice on the bridge. There's a faint aura around it, making the hairs on my arms stick up as my fingers passed that threshold. Someone didn't want people to cross. My fingers grazed against it, cool to the touch. There are small scratch marks in the ice. On closer inspection, they cover most of it. Are they scratch marks from people trying to pass by, or cracks? There's several ways they could be here, but no matter what, it's a sign of a spell gone wrong. If they're scratch marks, then that could mean the caster was rushed and didn't make it as solid as it could have been. And if they're cracks, then it could mean the caster is a novice. This bridge is one of the major routes out of town, but it's also a frequent destination for young adults. It's out of the way, and there's always things to do on the riverside. Someone did this, but what was their intention? I'm not sure if there's any other spells to put on this bridge, but... Alright, I have an idea. Ask one of the travelers for something with the pole, like a broom or a rake. Let them know they probably won't be getting it back. We'll need it to clean up the bridge. Aster nods, clearly not understanding my idea just yet, but sure he'll go along with it. A few moments later, he's procured a somewhat bent rake. The more I use, the better, honestly. It'll be completely useless after this anyway. While he holds the rake, I hum a few notes, my palms outstretched towards the spikes on the end of it. Sparks pop off them before a few flames lick the iron. Aster readjusts his stance, surprised, but not put off by it. Put it against each of the planks. Wherever you think you see the ice, let it touch it. This will take a while, and I'll definitely have to reignite it, so just go slowly. Let's do it! With a quick nod, we set off to work. The rake lightly grazes the first board. Almost immediately, the thin, shiny veneer melts away. It takes several more pokes and prods to get the rest of the large planks clean, but just a few moments later, it's safe to walk on. Someone either put a lot of effort into shutting off the trade route, or they had magic accident of a lifetime. I'm not liking the chances of it being just a poorly executed spell. After what feels like over 2 hours of prodding, we've made it to the other side of the bridge. There's a small bunch of travelers who cheer us on as we arrive, but their welcoming words are nigh deaf to me. I slump against the bridge railing. It took way too much magic to clear the bridge, and now I'm paying the price. My breathing sounds more like pants, and a cold sweat's taken over me. Even just standing makes me feel nauseous at this point. The cold northerly wind does little to help me. It only makes me shiver as my body's covered in sweat. I feel a hand on my arm. Asa, hi, Vivi. Welcome in. Hey, do you need something? Do you want to sit down? I try to say the words I'm fine, but what tumbles out of my mouth is a breathy, mumbling mess. You're fine? Yeah, you look fine to me. How about... I feel his hand leave my arm. My vision goes black, and the bridge escapes from underneath me. Chapter 5. Magic. Darkness surrounds me like silky layers of fabric intertwining around me. If I reach out, I'm sure I could touch it and feel that smooth texture. Damn, bridge magic is not to be messed with. Yeah, whoever put it on there, it was a hefty thing. As I reach my hand out, oh, he's awake. Oh, the flashbang. Oh, God. Oh, my eyes. Oh, that was bright. That was so painful. Oh, something much, much brighter than the elusive, silky darkness surrounds me. I open my eyes to see I'm in my bedroom. Charlotte hovers next to me, wash rag in hand. She pats the wet rag against my cheek. It's warm. The moisture from the towel tickles my nose and fully wakes me up. Aster sits in the corner of one of my chairs, watching from afar. His expression is aloof, but with a tinge of seriousness. I replay what I remember. First we were out looking around town, then we went to the inn, then the bridge. Did we fix the bridge? Charlotte's cheerful demeanor turns into sharp condescension. She rests her hands on her hips. You fainted and that's what you're worried about? You realize you overworked yourself and collapsed outside of town, right? Do you even know how you got home? My eyes trail across the room again. It's just her and Aster. She shakes her head. I'm just glad you didn't go alone. Might have been nighttime before we heard what happened to you. I prop myself up on my elbows, steeling myself for a wave of nausea. That never comes. Half surprised, I push myself up further in bed. I still feel a little clammy, but it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. It's been a long time since I ever used so much magic, I completely collapsed. How long was I out? She looks over at Aster and then back at me. 4 hours? 5? My shoulders deflate. There goes the whole day. And we weren't even able to find a job. Well, not one that would actually pay. No wonder it looks somewhat dark here. Why so glum? I just sigh. I wanted to try to find something around town for us to work on that pay a little. She folds her arms. Her expression only becomes more irritated. And nothing else, Yeah, what about the grocery list? Nothing else? Now she's peeved. I suppose grocery shopping was never high on your list? Just because you hate menial chores doesn't mean you can avoid them forever. A cold sweat breaks down my back. I'd completely forgotten about the food she asked me to pick up this morning. I'm sorry. Charlotte cuts me off, shaking her head. Don't stress about it too much. What's done is done. Just worry about recovering. I feel better now. Then you can stay here and relax for the rest of the night. She stands, turning away. But... I reach out my arm towards her. She faces me. But what? What's so hard about a few extra hours of sleep? I'll bring you dinner. I could say something like, I'm a grown-up and I can decide if I'm feeling better or not, but that'd make me sound more immature than anything. All right. She only takes a few steps out the door before Bern and Alexei rush past her. Good thing I don't actually need rest. Hazel, you cleared the bridge all by yourself? I glance at Aster, who's still silently sitting in the corner. His expression now looks more bored than anything, but doesn't acknowledge the comment. We did, yes. I was with some traders and the other hunters when we heard that the bridge was going to be down indefinitely. A lot of their livelihoods depend on that. Alexei nods as his own sign of thank you. Getting him to actually say thanks is a quest all on its own. You wouldn't have been able to go home either, would you? He shakes his head. That's right. His village is to the east, but you need to head north for a short distance first. Good thing you were in the area, then. Still, you'd think by now the town workers would learn a little more than basic fire spells. So hi, Nugget. Thank you for the lurk. They cross their arms, almost peeved at the thought. No, that wouldn't have worked on this. Someone had done something deliberately. The whole bridge was like it was enchanted. It was covered in a thin layer of ice, but it was impossible to even step foot on, let alone touch. The spell was weaker in the center of the bridge, but it was still covering basically the entire thing. It's not something that could have easily been put there. I don't know how or why, but someone didn't want people crossing it, and they spent a great deal of effort trying to stop that. Both of them fall silent. Several moments pass before one of them speaks up. And you don't have any idea about it? Their glare is directed solely at Aster, who perks up from the corner of the room. He looks more alert now that he's included in the conversation. Too alert. His eyes narrow at Bern's insinuation. No. I crossed the bridge yesterday morning and it looked fine. No one loitering around and looking suspicious. And I didn't stick around to cast some spell on it either. I crossed the bridge and headed to the square. Bern clearly doesn't buy it, but they also don't have anything to retort it with, and so the stare down continues. To be honest, I think it was done unintentionally. It's one of the main routes outside of town, but it's also a low-traffic area with good natural lighting at night. Someone, or a group of someones, might have been practicing magic out there, and it got out of hand. Even on that big a scale? The amount of snow we've had recently could act as a conduit. We also can't verify how much of the bridge was really covered, as people were only able to step so far onto it. It could have been a very light layer that had spread out from the edges. I suppose, but they should have confessed their mistake rather than being a nuisance for us all. I'll look into it tomorrow with some other hunters. Maybe we'll at least be able to figure out exactly when it happened. That should help us figure out who did it, and maybe even why. Bern nods. It definitely sounds like the best course of action. Alexei was always better at investigating things like this than the rest of us. That set my mind at ease. But I need confirmation on something else now. It turned back to me, stepping forward. You're still going to perform for the kids tomorrow, right? After the kerfuffle with introducing Aster to everyone in the bridge mess, I completely forgot I told them I'd do it. It's really been 24 hours, too. Jeez, how time flies. I'll be good to go tomorrow. The concern melts off their face. Worries about the bridge seem like a thing of the past to them. Great, I'm sure they'll love it, even if you mess up. That's not very encouraging. Oh, it's not? I'm sure you'll do fine anyway. Always quick to move on. Be ready to leave before 10 in the morning. It'll only take half an hour to get there. I nod. Shouldn't be too hard to get up before then, especially when I'm sharing a room with someone. Aster yawns loud enough to turn heads and remind everyone that he's here. We'll let you rest now. Yell if you need anything. With a brief wave, both of them leave, shutting the door behind them. Aster stands up from his chair and walks over to me, sitting down on his side of the bed. Why'd you chase them out? He shrugs nonchalantly. You need some rest. I'm fine. You weren't fine earlier when I had to drag you across town. A bit of sweat drips down my spine. I hadn't even considered how I got here beforehand, but with all things to consider, it only makes sense he had to carry me back here. Heat rises in my face in embarrassment. Surely he didn't do it by himself. That's a long trek back here. Did you carry me all by yourself? Yeah, a few travelers helped me. That's two different answers, but okay. Has it been a while since you used magic? Yeah, I guess it has. I use simple spells on the job, but it's not often I use that much magic. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't have to. I can practically see the gears turning in his head from here. What are you thinking about? He pauses, considering his words. Aren't you worried about that spell? It's such a large bridge. His words trail off as the crease in his brow deepens. I am, but I guess I just don't know what to make of it, so I'm not really worried about it yet. We just don't know enough about it. You've really mellowed out. He giggles to himself. It's a soft laugh, but makes my face turn redder. Hey, don't laugh at me. It only makes him laugh louder. Why not? It's funny how you've changed. Shouldn't you be out there curious as to what kind of spell they used? You don't know me. He stops abruptly, a look of surprise flashing across his. A moment later, though, his lips stretch into a thin smile. You're right. I don't. But I want to. Maybe you don't trust me now, but I'd like you to eventually. There's an animalistic quality to his narrowed eyes. I swallow hard. I want to be able to trust you. His smile deepens. Maybe someday in the future. Oh no, I'm so tired from almost dying. If only someone could make me feel alive. Yeah. Oh dear, I'm still so cold because I drained all of my magic clearing the bridge. Oh no, if only somebody can share this bed with me and their body heat with me. Good night. He pulls the bed covers up closer to my face before walking off, leaving me alone in my own room. With the last drops of sunlight dripping in through the window, I tug on the sheets even more to pull them over my head before laying down. That night, I dreamt of a special night. It was by happenstance that I heard him at all. I was having trouble sleeping and I got up to use the restroom. There, illuminated only by the moon, his silhouette was outlined by the moonlight, leaving out the open window. I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or not, but I felt like if I blinked, he'd be gone forever. I walked up to him. Evanescence, wake me up inside. I can't wake up. Wake me up and save me. Call my name. Yeah, the classic. I do love Evanescence. Are you leaving without paying? Cyrus must have thought he was completely quiet because he almost fell out the window at the sound of my voice. He whipped around, eyes wide at me. You... Good morning. You... He stammered his words out. I hadn't meant to scare him, but it didn't take much. For someone on the run, you're not very good at running away. You were trying to leave, weren't you? Both of our eyes landed on his backpack on the ground, and then his legs dangling over the edge. It couldn't have been more obvious. Cyrus huffed after he gathered his breath. Yeah, you got me. I've only got a couple coins on me. I was planning on skipping out of town tonight. Now I see why you're on the run. I'm not a wanted man. So we're the first people you've ripped off? Sorry, was all I can say. He lifted himself through the window, legs dangling outside, just a few feet away, just a hop and a jump out the window. And then I'd never see him again. Someone who passed through people's lives like a breeze, rustling their feathers but never staying for more than a few moments. Someone who lived by his own rules, who chased his own aspirations. Not tied down by others' expectations or wants. Not tied down by anything. Cyrus swung his other leg around the window's ledge. Hey. He stopped, but he didn't look back. You lied about paying. His head dropped. Incredulous, I brought it up again. But did you lie about the rest? Bright. He shone a bright grin at me, this expression illuminated in the moonlight. I'm gonna hunt down a cult. That's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Don't believe me? Just wait for the news. With a hand on the window frame, he steadied himself. Take me with you! And fell out the window. From how it sounded, his shoulder hit the ground first, followed by his knees. Despite that, he sprung back up almost immediately. Ugh! To take you with me? All I do here is clean and serve. I can't just sit here and fold one more basket of laundry. Or what? There has to be... My interjection fell flat as the words never came to my mouth. I know what I wanted to say. There has to be more to life than this. But that's not something you can easily say to someone else, much less a stranger. A coward to the end, I'd let the sentiment fade away into the night. And yet, he understood. His face, still illuminated by the moon, softened. He reached his hand out. There is. You just had to find it. Chapter 6. Music. A woman tugs on the arm of a small child. A group of people haul crates of goods. A pair of businessmen hurriedly rush to their next appointment. Everyone around us is in a hurry to go somewhere, and if I don't keep up, I'll be late too. We're almost there, just keep up. Byrne pulls us down another side alley to avoid a busy section of town. Maybe it's because I'm usually asleep at this time of day, but it feels livelier than usual. I swear there weren't this many people when we decided to move here. Turning down another street, Byrne steps fasten. I can't tell if it's because we're short on time or if it's because we're close. Just when I think to ask them, we reach a small clearing where the building comes into view. It's not the largest building on the street, nor the best kept, but it's definitely one of the more remarkable buildings, with its garish green shingles and shutters against a stark white exterior. At least it was probably a stark white years ago. Stains streak the top corners and the bottom of the building. Not the best looking outside, but if we can help it, we'd like to keep the kids living on the inside. They wink before walking inside. I follow suit. Looks like they're spread out right now. I'll gather them in the main room, so sit tight. They nod to me, but maintain eye contact with Aster just for much longer. Have you ever had a floor bed? A floor bed? Like, just like a bed on the floor? I mean, sure, yeah. What? Listen, these kids have been through a lot. A lot of them are orphans who lost their parents or have no family that's capable of taking care of them. Some of them are just better off away from their family. Most of them have lived here for months or years and will do so until they're of age. After that, they're allowed to stay here as long as they can help take care of the place or the kids. We're the only thing they have. It's either here or the street for most of them. This is the closest to a family they know. So, just be on your best behavior, okay? Aster sighs and looks away. What am I, another one of the children? You act like I'm gonna burn the orphanage down. There's a moment of silence. That's not something he did before, is it? Right? No, you didn't kill any kids. That's such a crazy phrase. A mattress, but not really. It's a tatami. Ah, no, I've never slept on a tatami. No, the closest I've slept on is like a sleeping bag. I slept on a sleeping bag before. I like slumber parties and stuff. That we know of. I shoo them off. Go get ready. They scoff as they walk off. Beside me, Aster folds his arms. Despite looking so peeved, I can see his expression soften as his eyes wander across the interior. The plan this morning was for Bern and I to come here alone. Alexi left early in the morning to help a group of fishermen by the docks, leaving Aster home alone with Charlotte. She was very subtle with her way of telling us to bring him along, with lines such as, I'm sure he'd like to see more of the town, and I bet it'd be an enriching experience, and I do not want extra help cooking. Bern said it was like bringing a ticking time bomb to the kids. Naturally, Charlotte got her way. Bro was a cult leader one lifetime. They think you're forever evil. God. The people will always find a way to hold it against you, bro. Like, I already died. I already got stabbed for it. Like, can we just move on? Sheesh. Tough crowd. Looks like a well-loved home. Our eyes pass over a series of portraits lining the leftmost wall, some several decades old. It's clear they're prior staff of the home, though I can't tell if they were more like benefactors or directors. Aster walks up to the portraits, his gaze unwavering. Recognize any of them? He looks back at me with a half-sardonic smile. What would you do if I said yes? He turns back to the portraits, facing away from me. I walk up to where he's standing. I was just thinking, what kind of person do you have to be to dedicate your life to something like this? To establish a home like this? What kind of life would you have to lead to end up doing that? There's a distant look in his eyes. I would say a life they wanted to share with others. They probably lived a life they wanted to share with others. They wanted to ensure children, regardless of what kind of family they were born into, were given a chance at life. Regardless of your circumstances, you can live a better life for yourself and others. The smile on his face fades away. So that's what you think. What? I didn't pass your little quiz. Put my hand on his hip in an exaggerated pout, but he doesn't so much as glance my way. He's actually thinking it over. A home like this, where the people who all live here are destitute, without the home, and under the supervision of adults who could take it away. Bern is worried about me, but not the power imbalance here. Aster speaks plainly for once. I hadn't thought about it before, but I could see how a place like this could potentially be warped by bad actors. The kids here fully rely on the homes for support. They're kids, after all. None of them come from good households, or else they wouldn't be here, so it's not like they have anywhere else to go. Gonna bounce? Yeah, take care, J-Bomb. Hope your yaoi stays wowie, everybody. Yeah, yaoi wowie. What would happen if the adults in charge used them for their own personal gain? If you don't have any outside oversight, or if that oversight is corrupt, then it'd be even easier. They're isolated from others because they have no family that cares about them. Their entire lives are wrapped up here, and they can't easily get outside assistance. If Bern is here, then I don't have to worry about the kids. I know Bern would stop any shady business going on and protect them, but still, growing up in such a potentially controlling and isolated environment. Aster looks at the portraits one more time before walking away. He's had more experience than most in that. All right, settle down. They motion for the kids to take a seat and to actually stay in their seats. In front of me, a wide range of children stare back at me. Some are small enough that I doubt they'll remember this, while others are old enough that they look like they could be in university. A few of these kids are probably just a few years younger than myself. Byrne told me they help children of all ages here, but you tend to forget the range that constitutes a child until you meet them. I take my seat in front of the large common area, in front of the grand fireplace that crackles behind me. Aster sits off to the side, trying to stay out the way. As everybody piles into the room, staff included, my gaze keeps wandering back to him. While I was laying in bed last night, I came up with a set list of sorts of what I'd want to play. It's a collection of relatively upbeat and somewhat dramatic pieces that'll be simple enough for me to play. But sitting here, looking at Aster, I can't help but wonder if I should try something different. Cyrus had a few favorites for my repertoire, mainly pieces that were slow and tranquil. He always said the pieces where I had to hold the notes longer were more impressive, even though he didn't know much about music. There were also a few pieces I only learned after he left us, to give me an edge while fighting. I haven't played many of those pieces in months, but it shouldn't be too hard. Play the tranquil set list. I rest my violin against my chin and take a slow breath, and then I begin. Children gasp as the notes flow out, drifting in the warm air. They saunter towards the fireplace, almost listlessly, daring to touch the sparks as they flare up. The piece is a slow dance, one that nobles would request often on our travels. The older kids seem impressed, while the younger kids are more mesmerized by the dancing notes. I glance over at Aster. He sits upright in his chair, his mouth just slightly open. It's clear he recognizes this piece. This performance is for the kids, but I hope he enjoys it too. The next piece I play is more of a lullaby with a smooth melody. It was one of Cyrus's favorites, something he'd asked me to play on nights after a long day of traveling, or when someone was recovering from a fight. When mixed with healing magic, it makes a soothing lullaby that speeds up recovery of most wounds. Of course, today it's just a regular piece with a small amount of magic for flair. Notes swirl around towards the children closest to me. They're enraptured in the magical notes, something I'm sure is a rarity around here. Even the older ones are entranced. A smile creeps up on my own face watching them. So this is what it feels like to perform for others on my own. To want to perform for others. And then there's Aster. My heart skips a beat when I look at him. His head is turned away from everyone, obscuring his expression. My hand falters when I see him, and I play the wrong note. It's only one before I catch myself, so the children don't notice, but anyone who's heard the piece can tell. Aster jolts, making eye contact with me. Even from here, I can tell there's a few tears in his eyes. Just as quickly as our eyes meet, I peel away before any tears I have a chance to form on their own. I feel my heart quicken as I try to play it off. When I close my eyes to concentrate, I see a fire pit. The flames lick the air unobstructed, while the ground around it is a small patch of dirt, far enough from the surrounding grass to not be an immediate threat. There are several people surrounding the fire. Their faces are hard to see from the light dancing across their faces, but I can make out smiles and grins. Hi, Egg. Yeah, we got cultist yaoi. And to my side is Cyrus. His eyes are closed with a long smile against his face. It's a picture that's ingrained in my heart, a picture I never wanted to let go of. I slide the bow against the string for the last note of the piece and open my eyes. The children give a quick applause before I continue to the next piece. Thank you, mister. A fuzzy feeling captures my heart as the children all say it in unison. I'm used to being called mister by shopkeepers and such, but there's something warm about hearing it from so many people at once. I nod to them, giving one last bow. Aster leans against the wall, looking away from me still. I approach him, but he doesn't say anything. How'd you like it? I hear a sniffle. Oh, he's crying. He wipes his hand on his face before turning towards me, but keeps his head downwards. You did well. Is that just a fact or how you feel? There's a pause. He doesn't look at me. Why'd you play those pieces? He says the words so dejectedly, I almost step back. They're calming, aren't they? I thought they'd be comforting for the children. Aster doesn't look like he agrees. But why those? Because I thought you'd like them. And why does it hurt to hear them? He wipes away his face again. I take a step closer to him, but he shakes me off, trying to hide his face again. Does he really not know? Do you know those pieces? He pauses and then shakes his head. That's right. He doesn't have all of his memories, just some. But to make him feel that way, those pieces were some of Cyrus's favorites. Aster's shoulders stiffen. He doesn't say anything. Byrne saunters up to us, clapping me on the shoulder. Hey, great job. I don't think there was a single person here who didn't enjoy it. Thank you. Now, if we would only do more performances, I'm sad to keep you all to myself. I'll think about it. Byrne grins in response. Maybe it wouldn't be too bad to perform more often. You trying to make a new piece? Yeah. Music to my ears, baby. Chapter 7, Footfall. I wake up with a light feeling in my head. The remnants of a dream fade away from my mind as I sit up in bed. Moonlight slips into the room, cascading over my bed sheets like cool waves. If it weren't for the light from the moon, I wouldn't be able to see anything. That brings to question, why is there so much moonlight slipping into my room? I turn to see an empty side of the bed and my curtains pulled open. The window appears closed, but I always shut the curtain before bed. And besides that, where did Aster go? Maybe it's because I'm still half asleep, but I don't feel immediately worried for some reason. He might have gone to the restroom, but needed light, so he opened the curtain to get some natural light in so as to not wake me. I slink over to the window, still groggy. My fingers trace over the edge of the latch. It's unlocked. I can't see anything or anyone outside my window, but this window leads to an alley, so my view's obscured to begin with. It takes some effort, but I push the window open and stick my head out. Thunk. The sound of something hitting the ground with a deep thud rings through the alleyway. I can't see what it is, but I can tell it's very close nearby. And what's more, I can tell it's someone fighting. Oh my god, thank you for the hydrate, Vi. Yeah, I'll be sipping my water. Did the cultist find him? New memories, new love. Yeah. Why are people fighting at this time of night? Why are people even out at this time of night? I lean more out the window, but I can only just make out shadows at the corner of the street. Should I stop them? Maybe ask them to keep it down? Or maybe... I look back at my now empty bed. If Aster went to the restroom, then he's taking a long time. But if he didn't... Turning back to the window, I grip the windowsill and carefully crawl out. I've never snuck out of this house, but it was easier than I expected. I land on the ground outside with a soft thud. Now that Aster shares the bed with me, I've basically been sleeping in full clothes, so I don't have to worry about looking haggard. The moon is rather bright tonight, illuminating my path. I cling to the buildings to hide in the shadows as I wake my way towards the fighting. Clink! Clink! Cling! Gah! Metal hitting metal reverberates through the night, almost made worse with the chill in the air. My legs brush against the brick wall as I push myself even closer to hide. I didn't think to bring anything to defend myself. A quick glance around me tells me there's nothing that'd be good to use except a small broken piece of wood. Only problem is it's leaning against the building on the other side of the alley. Just a few steps away, but it's in the moonlight. Let me just save. Let's just keep walking, I think. I don't want to get in a fight in the first place, and stepping out in the light would surely get me caught. I continue down the alley, staying as close to the wall as I can. The sound of metal and crashing only gets louder. Just as I near the corner of the alley, the shadows rapidly grow closer. I stop. Should I stay here and try to watch? Should I go back to my room and pretend I didn't hear anything and Aster isn't missing? One of the shadows gets thrown, landing on the other side of the alley on top of some wine barrels just a few feet away. The barrels they land on immediately crack, splintering in several pieces and making a terrible snapping sound. My legs lock up. I'm unable to move. Another person approaches from the corner of the alley. Light illuminates them from behind, casting a long shadow as they stare down the alley. Even though they're only a few feet away, their silhouette feels hazy. The only thing I can see about their silhouette is the bright metallic object gleaming in their right hand. It's a large knife. The person walks forward. One step, and then another. They clutch the knife in their hands as they approach the person on the barrels. I don't know why they're fighting, but... Hey! What do you think you're doing? They stop, and they turn towards me. Okay, I don't have anything against a knife, but I'm not sure how effective bringing a wooden stick to a fight would have been either. I swallow hard before continuing. I don't know what you're doing out here, but I don't condone killing people. My eyes betray me, wandering towards their knife as the words leave my mouth. A ringing sensation fills my head as I stare at it. It'd be so easy to maim someone with that kind of knife. You could even do it by accident. One slip. Wood snaps in front of me as the person on the barrels darts to their feet, taking advantage of the pause. There's another metallic glint in the air as they rise up and lunge at me. Instinctively, I raise my arms to protect myself. I don't even have any time to dodge. Just as I see the metal again, something blocks my view. Metal scrapes against metal again. It takes me a moment to realize, but the other person stepped in front of me to attack my assailant. Their knives meet once more, and then there's a large thud. Ugh! The first person falls back to the ground. This time, they don't look like they're so eager to get back up again. The other person steps towards them, knife still in hand. I don't know why the person on the ground attacked me, but... Hey! Throwing caution to the wind, I grab the standing person's arm. They whip around, but don't push my hand off. That's a dangerous thing to do. When the person turns around, at this close of a distance, it's plain to see. Aster. He smirks at hearing his name. Rather than his hair still being down, he's put it into a makeshift ponytail. He's still wearing what he went to bed in, but he has an oversized coat on top of it, making his silhouette harder to tell. No, it's not just that. It's almost like there's an actual haze surrounding him. Why don't you go back to bed? I'm sorry I woke you. What are you doing out here? He lifts up the knife, looks it over, and shrugs. Getting rid of some problems. The response almost renders me speechless. What kind of response is that? You attack someone with a knife! The knife glows in the light as he holds it up. I suppose I am. I feel like I'm talking in a different language. No, he's the one talking in a different language. You suppose you are? Well, that's one way of putting things. It'd be easier if you stepped away. The nonchalant way he says all of it just pisses me off. I'm not going anywhere. Why not? Because... The person on the ground groans back to life, pushing off the ground to try to get away. It's an attempt, but it's all futile. Aster barely has to walk 3 steps to catch up with them. Before he can do anything, I grab his arm again. He half turns to face me. He's definitely not going to be this patient for much longer, and I don't know how much longer I can stay awake out here. This guy was loitering around outside. I just wanted to see why. And have you found out why yet? There's a pressure on my hand as he, lightly, tries to pull his arm away. I don't let go. Let me go. Why was this guy outside our house? Why do you think? I close my eyes tight, trying to squeeze out any bit of tiredness still in me. It doesn't work. Quit it with the riddles or I'll drag you back to bed. Just talk. He yanks his arm back, but doesn't make any motions towards the guy. He's here for me. Huh? Aster says it plainly, like it should be clear as day. Apparently I should have kept my appearance more hidden. Isn't that right? He kicks the person's leg. The impact is louder than I thought it would be. I can't help but grimace. Come on, speak. His leg swings back to kick the guy again, but I step forward to get his attention. Well, what are you trying to do? Wake up the whole town? Aster eyes me up, and then grips the knife harder. You're right. I've waited long enough to get some more answers. Wait! In the fuss, the guy on the ground manages to scoot another few feet away. Well, if I can't drag Aster away, then I'll have to settle this myself. Who are you? And what do you want? The guy pauses. It's hard to tell if he's concocting an answer or trying to find a way to make a run for it. Just when I think I can't hold Aster back any longer, the guy answers. What's the point in asking? He knows me. Or maybe I wasn't high enough in our ranks. My heart sinks. When Aster said this guy was here for him, I knew it had to mean that, but I still... What do you want from me? Before you ask, I'm not interested in reviving a dead cult. Go find a nice farm to work on or enjoy a prison cell. So you don't remember me. You've completely forsaken us too, even after all we've done for you. His words are half coughs, half sputtering. I'd be surprised if he hadn't punctured anything. That's fine and dandy, but... A guttural cackling erupts from the man's chest. As my eyes adjust more to the night, I can see spots of blood covering him. His laughter echoes down the alley. You are living proof that we weren't wrong. I was shunned from my family when I told them of our word, how one day no one would fear death. None of them believed me. None of them wanted to accept the truth. And yet here you are, with the spark of life in your eyes. What more could I ask for? Ooh, Aster's pissed. That's so sexy of him. Ooh, stab me back. Murderous. A murderously savage expression washes over Aster. The air becomes thin. It's enough to make my heart rate spike. Cyrus wasn't a prophet. He wasn't a savior. He never wanted to be, no matter what they said about him. And yet when you put someone on a pedestal like that... Aster lunges. I practically have to throw myself on top of him to stop him before he can stab the man. Hey! Light pierces the darkness of the night. It infuses with the rays from the moon, dancing along them to cut through the frigid air. A single arrow skewers itself into the ground just a few inches from our feet. We both stop in our tracks. A hawk has us in its grasp. Alexei peers down at us from the rooftops. There's a weight to his stare, only made heavier by the arrow notched in his bow that's pointed at us. One hand rests on the string. It'd take another for him to flick it and send his arrow through someone's head. Despite our eyes meeting, he doesn't say anything. A large gust of frigid wind streaks down the alleyway. Aster takes the hint and pockets his knife in his boot, stepping away from the guy on the ground. Get lost. You'll find yourself in a prison cell if you ever show your face around here again, and if I find out that you tell someone else about me. Seeing you is enough for me. The guy doesn't hesitate to make a run for it, booking it around the corner and out of view. I can't imagine he'll get far with those injuries, but he'll probably get far enough to be safe from Aster finding him again. With a hand on his shoulder, I walk him back to my partially open window. I thought I closed it more, but it's open several inches. That's probably how Alexei heard us. Oops. Alexei meets us there. His arms are crossed with a sour expression resting on his face. I can't help but feel like a child about to be scolded. What was that? I find it hard to pick the right words to tell him. Do I say what Aster told me? Do I leave it more vague and say the guy was attacking us and don't tell him why? How long was he watching? Was he watching starting from when I left the house or even longer? Get out. He steps towards Aster, clearly intending to put himself between us. Wait! The full brunt of Alexi's glare quickly whips around to rest on me. Wait for what? Him to start more fights? For him to bring more destruction here? Aster flinches. He came here to settle down and lay low, not try to kill villagers. I know, but... I try to say that he was stalking us or that he was loitering around the house outside, but the words disappear from my tongue. That's just what Aster told me. I don't have any proof of what actually happened. Aster, say something. That guy was after me. It's hard to tell how long he was chasing me. He might have been following me for a few towns, or he might have seen me when I got here. I don't know. I don't want to see him again, and I don't want him to hang around here. That's all. Alexei is silent. He looks up at the moon before returning his gaze to his bow. His line of thinking is always straight like an arrow, but that doesn't mean he's the easiest person to read. What will you do if he comes back? Aster folds his arms and huffs. Well, apparently killing people is wrong now, so I suppose I'll call the constables. I just shake my head. And for my next question, why'd you try to kill him? Air becomes thin. Every second of silence feels like an eternity. He was following me and he wouldn't take no for an answer. I had to make sure he got the hint. What was he asking you? He wanted me to come back with him. A tingling feeling crawls up my spine. There's something so off-putting about how vague he's staying, but I can't put it into words. Go back where? Bitch, to the cult. Where do you think? There shouldn't be anywhere for him to go back to. We dismantled everything. Some compound up north are still trying to run from the sounds of it. He glances between the both of us. Both look terrible because he quickly starts talking more. He said there's only a few people and the place is practically deserted. It's just a few stragglers who weren't killed or thrown in prison. It's not a lot. You did a thorough job of wiping them out, but there was always going to be some remnants. I turned him down, so there's nothing to be worried about. I'm not going back there. You said that once before, too. Despite it all, Aster smiles back at us. I guess your expectations are on the ground, huh? That's right. He lowers his bow, stepping towards our building. You can stay here a little longer. Really? I was watching that guy hang around outside for a while. Before I decided what to do with him, someone came crawling out the window. And then someone else. Of course he would have been aware if we were being tailed. So that means he must have heard whatever that guy told Aster already. He just wanted to see what Aster would try to pass off as the truth. Hi, Leonix. Welcome in. Sorry I'm late. You're forgiven for now. I won't tell Charlotte or Byrne about this, but... there it is. You do have to help me tomorrow with the hunting trip. That doesn't sound too hard. Get some sleep before then. Good night. Alexei slips around the corner, going back inside the way he came out. Aster and I are left with much more awkward entrance of my bedroom window. Aster goes in first, helping me inside. A giant chill rolls over me as the much warmer air from my room engulfs us. It's not as warm in here as it would be somewhere like in the living room, but it's so much better than outside. I practically waddle back to my bed and collapse into a shivering fit. The next thing I'm buying is more blankets. Aster follows suit, crawling in next to me. I hear him huff a bit, trying to stave off shivering, but to no avail. I squeeze my eyes shut. Something warm rests on my back. I freeze. He rests against me, back to back. Aster doesn't lay against me, rather he's just close enough that I can feel his warmth. There's no words, only silence. But that's all I need. Oh my god, it's like we're practically cuddling. That night, I dreamt about one of the several times we snuck into a church. It was snowing outside and well past midnight when we made it into town, dead set on not spending another night in the icy woods. Every place we walked past was closed, lights off as if they were deserted, but it was just our luck we found a town full of older people who went to bed not long after sundown. But it was also our luck that we found a church. It was an aging, Gothic-style building with more spires than the rest of the town's buildings combined. Each crevice of the church was ornately handmade with the care and precision of an expert. Love was poured into the building at one point. When we arrived at it, though, it was clear the place had experienced some neglect. What remained of the wintry greenery had long wilted away, turning to a cold, deep brown. Every brick leading up to the doorstep was cracked, making each step harder than the last on uneven ground. In the middle of the night, the church looked more like a refuge for the dead rather than the living, but it was our only choice. We thought about jimmying a window open to get in, but most of them were stained glass, no ways to open them at all. Cyrus had a bright idea. Why don't we try the front door? The streets were empty, so it's not like anyone was going to notice us. After all the searching, we did find a window to open. Apparently there were no lights on inside, so we walked in. I got flashbanged again. But the pain. The interior of the church had weathered better than the dilapidated exterior. Whoever still used this place put all of their care towards the inside, but it still wasn't enough. Pews were dusty and pushed around, and every other plank of wood on the walls was splintering. My heart was beating loud enough that I was sure he could hear it. Every step made me jolt, afraid we'd be caught at any moment, but Cyrus walked around without a hint of hesitation. He walked past the altar and into the back rooms. Oh my god, the back rooms? To checking for any other stragglers. I could barely work up the nerve to walk around the pews. I settled down on one, tucking my legs close to me. It was a welcome respite from the snow, but it was still a freezer box. When I exhaled, I could see my own breath. Cold? I was too cold to be surprised by him suddenly being back. The words rolled off his lips as if it were an actual question worth asking, but his smile said otherwise. Only a freak wouldn't be. Does that make me a freak, then? There's no way you're not freezing. Who knows? Maybe it's the chills of excitement from trespassing. Backrooms? Jingle, jingle. Yeah, jingle, jingle. Cyrus tossed his bags on the ground, pulling an oversized blanket from one. He wrapped it around his shoulders before he sat down beside me. We could burn a few books for fire. Isn't that a crime? And breaking and entering isn't? I shivered, putting on my best teary-eyed look. We're just orphans looking for our parents and got lost. I don't think any console is going to buy that I'm a kid. Not with that look. He laughed. I can still remember how his voice reverberated off the walls, echoing around us. The fear of being caught left me, replaced by his infectious laughter. Say, what do you think of this place? The town or the church? The church. It's seen better days. It looks like people want to keep it usable, but probably don't have the time or manpower to keep it fixed. They're probably doing what they can. I meant how you feel about it, not your observations. For a moment, I didn't know how to answer. We had an old shotgun-style church at our home, but to say it had seen better days was an understatement. It had been a long time since sermons were regularly held there for a multitude of reasons. The last preacher in town died before I was born, leaving the place in the hands of everyone else. Taking care of another building for free wasn't exactly a welcome burden to the townsfolk. After many attempts to create a schedule or a method of low repair work, nothing stuck. Without a father in town, people didn't have much of an attachment to it. Traveling preachers and clergymen would pass by at times and offer free sermons, which were attended with lukewarm enthusiasm, but aside from that, and the occasional wedding, the church laid abandoned for years. It's probably still abandoned now. As for this church, though... It's sad being in here. When I look around at the structure of the building, the leaky ceiling, the cracked tiles, I just feel sad. People put great care into constructing this building, but now it's almost entirely left to the elements. What little effort they put into keeping the inside clean isn't enough. They cared at one point, but now they're either all gone or unable to keep taking care of it. Fatherless behavior? Yeah. Yeah. Cyrus stared up at the patchy ceiling. That's how you feel, huh? I guess it is a lot of wasted effort for nothing. If someone was able to enjoy it, even briefly, was it wasted? How do you know they enjoyed it? How do you know they didn't, Mr. Contrarian? If I'm not the contrarian, then who will be? Cyrus leaned back into the pew, letting his head rest on the back edge of it. Even in a strange place like that, he looked so self-assured. Say, I never told you why I'm hunting down the Sun Mourners, did I? It's because you were part of them, wasn't it? I thought it was an obvious answer, but Cyrus almost fell out of his pew when I said it. His eyes were full of disbelief. You knew? It wasn't that hard to guess. You seem to know a lot about them, and cults in general, so I figured you escaped from one. It took him a moment to regain his composure. That's right, I was born into it. My parents were some of the founders. Maybe they were the main founders. I don't know if I'll ever know the truth. They're long dead. For the first few years of my life, when they were alive, they didn't let me leave the main compound. I'd stayed there with my family, learning magic and about death. But after a certain age, they began shipping me across the country, going from compound to compound, speaking to followers and meeting with other members. I thought that's how society worked. People lived in groups, and towns were just aggregations of several different groups. A family unit wasn't a parent and children. It was a collection of people with no relation who all belonged to a group. Parents were no more than somebody who possibly gave birth to you. Siblings, I was told I had several siblings, but they all had different parents. I'm not sure if I even had any actual siblings. His expression grew more dour with each sentence. Just remembering those things was painful to him. Traveling to other compounds, meeting other members and potential recruits. It was all just a ploy to keep them interested. Look at our happy members. Stay with us. Of course you couldn't stay for free. Joining meant cutting off all ties to your family if you couldn't convince them to join, or if they didn't cut you off first. Joining meant paying a monthly fee for living with us, for food, and of course donations for upkeep and general welfare. Joining was the first sign of dedication, and joining was the start of the race to the bottom of proving that you were the more dedicated than the rest. I really thought that's how things worked back then. Laugh if you want. Of course I didn't laugh. Instead, I just sat there in silence. I wanted to know more, but what little he'd said already clearly hurt him to think about. One day, though, I saw a family arguing. Is this even more cult shenanigans? Yeah, it's cult shenanigans. I was old enough to be left somewhat alone at our main compound and ended up walking past one of the rooms where our family was staying. The father was saying he could work an extra shift at the warehouse to make up for their donations slipping, but the wife had it. She said her sister managed to contact her and would help them leave. All they had to do was meet her somewhere at a certain time. He didn't want her to take the kids, but at the same time, he knew they couldn't meet the new donation threshold. They argued about whether it'd be safer there, struggling to get by, or if they even had a chance outside where they'd be hounded for leaving. I didn't get to it. To me, if they couldn't afford the support of the group, they weren't helping us. I didn't see it as the other way around, that they were a family in need and we weren't supporting them. I left there, probably angry, but didn't mention it to anyone else. It sat with me for weeks. I couldn't understand it, so I kept trying to rationalize it. That was the first crack that eventually got me to run away. I ran as far as I could and kept running, avoiding any towns I knew had compounds. That's how I made a detour to this tiny place instead of staying on the main road. Better safe than sorry. If they were to find me, well, now you know. Thanks for telling me this. The words got stuck in my throat, but I managed to force them out. I'm glad you were able to escape. Hi, Vertexiality. Welcome in. I sneezed. A burst of icy air hit my face when I ducked, bringing on another shivering fit. I felt like I was going to fall off the pew until something nudged my shoulder. Resting against me, a prickling sensation crept up my back from the sudden warmth. Cyrus had leaned his head on my shoulder, not saying a word. I got an appointment, just popping in to say hi. Yeah, thanks for popping in. I watched his shoulder rhythmically move up and down for a few moments before closing my eyes. The world felt a few degrees warmer that night. Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up soon. I think after we finish chapter 8, I'll probably wrap it up because my throat's starting to get a little sore from all of the reading I've done today. Because I was also in another collab earlier for a few hours, and I also haven't eaten, so I'm like starving. I haven't eaten since I've eaten breakfast. You know, when you said you'd bring us on a hunting trip, this wasn't what I pictured. Asta and I carried a couple of baskets, each filled to the brim with fishing and hunting supplies. It's a mishmash of traps, lures, extra lines, and more. Please go. I will. After this chapter. It's only 2 a.m. I ate at, hold on. I sent a message in the Discord when I was eating. When did I send that message in the Discord? when did I eat? I ate... Okay, I ate at like 7 p.m. So 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 10 to 1, 1 to 2. So like 7 hours ago. That's fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll make a very delicious meal afterwards. Have a snacky at least. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. I can power through a chapter. But I'll wrap it up after we finish this chapter. Once it shows the title card for chapter 9, we'll save. Alexei, meanwhile, carries his bow and arrow and a rare hunting rifle. He doesn't like hunting with guns. They're loud, distracting, and take too long to clean and repair, but I suppose he likes to keep one handy sometimes. The three of us head to a small docking port on the water at the south corner of town. It's saddled right next to a dense forest, perfect for hunters, traders, and fishermen to come and go as they like. I knew exactly where we were going, but a question still remains. Why'd you bring your fishing stuff if we're going on a hunting trip? I'm going hunting. You two are the ones going fishing. I don't even have to look at Aster to guess his expression. Fishing was something of a necessity for Cyrus and I to learn to feed ourselves, but not something we enjoyed, to say the least. The act of fishing isn't terrible, rather it's the lack of the outcome that soured us time and time again. It never mattered where we tried to fish. Fish never fell for Cyrus's lures. The ones that would take back his bait were tiny fish with more bones than meat on them. We had to throw them back anyway. Aster slouches so far I worry he'll drop his baskets. Great, just what I'm good at. The fish in this area are rather hungry this time of year. I'm sure he'll catch some. Sure. It's a lot of faith to give in a man that's never caught anything over 3 pounds. We make it to the docks as an unseasonably warm breeze hits our way. It must be a southern warm front that found its way here from the water. The breeze doesn't last long, though. Just a few moments later, I have to tug on my jacket. Aster seems more perturbed by the idea of us fishing all day rather than the weather. This is the full game and not a demo, right? Will you be playing the entire game on stream? This is the full game. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to play the full game. We'll see. But it'd be nice. Maybe next Monday I'll play. I'll finish it next Monday probably because we're gonna have Silent Hill starting on Fridays now. Which Fridays is normally when I do my visual novel streams, but maybe we'll finish it up next Monday if I don't finish, you know. Words. But we are starting Silent Hill, so that's going to be on Fridays now. Alexei gives us a few pointers before setting off to the woods. I don't know what he's out to catch this morning, but then again, I've never been a hunter. Asta and I settle down away from the few other fishermen. Yeah, Mpreg Foxman, let's go. Yeah. I posted a new art that popped up on my Twitter of the Foxman Mpreg. I posted that in the games channel. I keep getting so much Mpreg art of him. If he doesn't get pregnant in the game, I'm gonna be so disappointed. Maybe this won't be as long as we think it will be. He doesn't look so sure. I rig the lures on the ends of our fishing poles and hand it back to him. With the toss, we cast our lines into the water. And now, we wait. Warm breezes pass us by a few times, but for the most part, the water exudes coldness. Everything is cast in a golden hue as the sunrise crests over the river. It's extremely serene out here. But Aster already looks bored out of his mind. With his legs crossed, he props his chin on the palm of his hand. A terribly dull expression rests on his face. What about Loud Valley? What does that mean? Oh, I get it now. It took me a second. I was like, what the fuck do you mean Loud Valley? I get it now. Silent Hill, Loud Valley. You're so stupid. Yeah, we'll play Loud Valley after we beat Silent Hill. It's hard to overstate how bad Cyrus was at fishing. For a man who walked into any situation with enough confidence and charisma to leave it unscathed, it truly was a wonder how he could be so terrible at something like fishing. The pole didn't matter. The lure didn't matter. The spot didn't matter. The daytime didn't matter. If there were fish in the water, they would avoid his bait every time. But it's probably different for Aster, right? But it got you? Yeah, it got me. It took me a second, but it got me. Have you ever been fishing? He grunts. Apparently that was more of a loaded question than I thought. Once. Only once? I only have memories from the past few months, remember? Oh, that's right. So when he says he's only been once, he's only counting himself. I thought it'd be decent change up from the begging for food. That was a mistake. I just ended up wasting a few hours before giving up. I remember having to do more than a few times. Cyrus and I had to find ways to get food in the woods between towns. Supplies runs out quickly between two people. Thank you for the hydrate. Yeah, let me sip my water. I never fished before, so I didn't have much time to learn before we starved, but I did all right. Cyrus, though. My words trail out. I doubt I have to explain it to him of all people. When I look over to him, though, his face looks dour. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have mentioned him. Aster holds his hands to his face almost bashfully. It's rather a cute gesture, even though what got us here wasn't quite so sweet. It's all right, if anything. I'm just glad you can talk normally about him. I still don't know how best to refer to my other self because of my own uncertainty. It feels like I'm walking on glass whenever you bring him up. This is the first time I've heard him refer to Cyrus as his other self. I don't really know what he means by that. Does he think he and Cyrus are the same person but with different selves? Like a different personality? But they act very similar. How do you want me to refer you by? To differentiate the two of you. He shifts uncomfortably in his spot. Well, I don't think there was anything wrong per se with how you said it just now. It's just... I suppose it's a personal issue. But it is something I can help with. He looks at me, surprised. A smile creeps up on his face. You've been so nice to me so far, even though you don't have to be. Even after he left you all to rejoin his family. You would have been completely in your right to throw me out like Bern and Alexei wanted to. I would have been sad, but I wouldn't have blamed you. Charlotte wouldn't have gone for it. Only because you convinced her. I'm really grateful. When I made my way here, I had no clue how you'd react. There were a few times I thought about turning around and trying to make it on my own. I was afraid I'd be shunned immediately or maybe even thrown in prison. But you didn't. You took the time to help me. So thank you. Really. Cast in the warm glow from the sunrise, he looks almost too bright to look at, like a radiant sun. I feel like I'll lose track of time if I stare too long. I don't think Bern or Alexei would have tried to get you arrested. They don't know what to do about you, but after all we've been through, they wouldn't be able to throw them to the wolves like that and call themselves nobles, letting them get their hands on the cult leader turned martyr who almost destroyed the world. You think so? Either way, I don't see either of them warming up to me anytime soon. Is that my fault or out of my control, though? His words trail off again as he turns back to the serene water. If you're so worried about being turned over, then what made you so sure of finding us instead of starting your own life alone? Aster looks at me at the corner of his eyes. A devious smile rests on his lips. Isn't it obvious? If it were obvious, I wouldn't be asking, though. I guess you said you wanted to make new memories with us. Memories of your own. You didn't want things to be so dour between us. That's right. All I have are the clothes on my back and a few vague memories. Even when I thought those memories were fully mine, I wanted to come here and make things right. Thank you for letting me do that. I rub the back of my neck. He really is so bright. It's hard to look at him for long. You're really casual with saying thank you. Is there anything wrong with that? I have a lot to be thankful for. It's just, when Cyrus would say thanks so much, it was because he had something in mind that he wanted. Fisherman gets settled a bit further down the bank. He takes out a knife to cut open a box of lures before setting up his fishing pole. The knife glints brightly in the sunlight. That reminds me. Where did you get the knife from last night? Oh, that? I grabbed it in the kitchen before I went outside. I didn't want to go out there empty-handed. I can't tell if that's a jab at me or if he's just saying common sense. Probably both. But wait, that knife. I stay far away from the kitchen when Charlotte's in there, but even then, I don't recognize that knife. That's not from our kitchen. You noticed? So he was trying to hide it. I found it a while ago. Never know when you'll need to defend yourself, you know? Especially when you're out roughing it every night. So when you came here, you already had a knife on you? All I can do is sigh. I want to trust him, but he sure doesn't make it easy. Now he's hiding knives he snuck into the house. Where did he even keep it? His boots? A cold breeze hits our back. If he's had a knife this whole time, he could have killed me at any point. It wouldn't have taken much. He probably could have killed everyone, but I would have been an easy mark. What'd you really come here for? Aster turns to me. His smile is radiant as ever. He doesn't say anything. And then, something pulls on my fishing pole. Hey, I've got something! Really? He pulls his fishing pole down, reaching over to grab mine as I start reeling in. I bring the line back slowly so as to not throw the fish off, but fast enough so it doesn't have time to eat its lunch and leave. Here it is! We lift up the fishing pole to bring the fish closer, and... What is this, a guppy? How did I snag this thing? Its eyes are bulging out of its tiny head and it looks like it'd barely be a snack for a dog. Beside me, Aster can't stop laughing. I don't bother taking off the line. I just sink the end of the fishing pole back into the water and let it swim away. Aster wipes the tears from his eyes. That's amazing. I think you discovered a new species of pitiful creatures today. At least I caught something. Muttering the words under my breath, I stare back down at the river, embarrassed. Alexei and I hoist a deceased deer onto the picnic table with a resounding thud. Eager to not get his hands dirty, Aster stands to the side, examining the 3 entire fish we caught. I suppose I should just be grateful we caught anything. I would have hunted more ducks, but I couldn't carry any more on my back. Charlotte said you're out at home, so she wanted at least 2 to put on ice. This is already more than enough. Duck soup, fried duck. You won't get any if you don't start helping. Realizing he won't get out of work, he walks back over to my side. Alexei begins to prepare the deer, gouging into it like natural, because he is. Both he and Charlotte were raised to be self-sufficient, with a heavy emphasis on cooking. Whereas Charlotte's expertise is baking and stovetop cooking, Alexei's expertise is wild game and anything that can be caught. Preparing his prey is just the necessary next step of that. However, as Aster and I joined him for his hunt today, we were now his helpers for finishing the job, as grotesque as that may be. I push a duck over to him and begin plucking the feathers out of my own duck. It's not something I'm very comfortable with, but I'm not grossed out enough to complain. If I'm going to eat it, then I'll have to help prepare it, even if it's something you have to get used to. Aster knows this too, and reluctantly begins preparing his own. It's a rather nice day out here, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I was expecting it to stay cold, but once the sun peeks out from behind the clouds, it warmed up. It feels nice now. But snow is always just around the corner. Was that hard on you, traveling so far in this kind of weather? I don't actually know how far he had to travel to get here, nor where he began, but if it took him months of traveling... A bit, yes. It wasn't easy traveling at such a cold time. When I started, it was warmer outside, but by the time I got here, it was already snowing. At least I have my coat, though. It's not something I could picture Cyrus ever wearing, given how bulky and oversized it is, but somehow it fits Aster. Is it because of his hair length or the change in his demeanor? Now that I really think about it, there are a lot of small things different between Cyrus and Aster. At his core, it really feels like Cyrus, but something different. Cyrus was someone with a troubled past who always acted like he was above it, that he had moved on, but with Aster... It's like he never had that life. As if Cyrus's problems are something he read rather than experienced. If anything, it makes it harder to understand him. Hey, what are you doing? Aster stopped pushing his duck away, but doesn't look me in the eyes. I'm done with this one. No, you're not. There's still some feathers around its neck. You know, I've never done this before. Then it's a learning experience. So you should be nicer to a newbie. And the newbie should be eager to learn. Unable to argue with that, he gives up and goes back to plucking. Alexei, meanwhile, has almost entirely finished preparing the deer. I would have thought it'd take much longer, but it's clear his skills have helped speed up the process. I can also tell he's listening in on us, though I suppose it's less listening in on and more we're standing close enough where he can't help but hear. Alexei, you headed home after this? I am. I hope you'll at least stay for lunch. We'll see. Aster doesn't really seem to care either way. Alright, there we go. That's the end of Chapter 8. Chapter 9, Ingredients. We'll go ahead and save. Hopefully I'm on the good path. Fingers crossed. I am trying my best to treat him as a separate person from Cyrus, but it's clear he has a memory, so it affects him. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this. I think we will probably finish this next Monday as well. Cause yeah, I got lots of stuff to work on. I got commissions, so I gotta focus on doing the art commissions, and then I'll have tarot on Thursday, and then we're starting Silent Hill on Friday, which I'm super excited for. I've never played a Silent Hill game before, so I'm very excited. Can't wait to see why everybody keeps drawing the Foxman pregnant. I think that'll be really great to fully unravel and see, break it down, if you will. Well, let's see, who's online? Who can we raid? Who's up? Oh, you know, Saf is playing Needy Streamer Overload. We'll raid Saf. We played that before. Very nice audio visual novel. Yeah. Alright. We'll go ahead and raid Saf. Yeah. Hopefully I will see you guys on Thursday for some tarot card readings. But if not, no worries. I'll see you when I see you. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. And good night.